But she has a screenshot here from Dentsu.com, USEN, our work, Oreo, and Pokemon. And it says, Pride, designed, captioned, and approved within minutes. You can trace our time with Oreo all the way back to when the power went out at the Super Bowl in 2013. A single tweet reminding people that you can still dunk in the dark brought the brand greater payoff than its actual Super Bowl spot, costing millions. That's really weird. We've brought the same energy to pinning up the brand's partnership platform. Courage was on display when we paired the feel-good brand with Game of Thrones. I feel like it's really weird to call a brand feel-good and talking about Game of Thrones in the same sentence. They could have described the brand as literally anything else in conjunction with Game of Thrones. We reimagined the violent show's opening credits with nearly 3,000 Oreos. It was the brand's most successful limited edition ever. I didn't even know that happened. But then again, I don't buy Oreos, and I didn't watch Game of Thrones as it was releasing. Of course, we broke that record again in 2021 with the brand's latest collab. This time, we pulled on the power of Pokemon to devise a rarefication scheme to depictions of 16 of the video game's most popular characters, making cookies of Dratini, Lapras, and the mythical Pokemon Mew harder to find. We surrounded the launch with additional elements of discovery with an animated reveal video and pop-up art installation, crafted entirely out of Oreos, and fans were here for it. Result, the Oreo x Pokemon collab has been Oreo's fastest selling and top grossing limited edition launch to date. The cookies reach collector status with eBay listings for individual cookies going for hundreds, and dozens of sellers listing the rarest catches for $30,000. On the heels of the campaign, Mondelez set a goal of adding $1 billion in Oreo sales by 2023. I can't imagine paying $30,000 for a fucking cookie. Some people have way too much money and not enough brains. That's fucking insane. That is retarded. Holy fuck. But I thought it was interesting that she mentioned Dentsu here and Pokemon working with Dentsu. And we've seen a lot of poor decisions in Pokemon in recent years. And it made me go back through a lot of my bridge stuff because, as you guys know, and I lament all the time, I get a metric fuck ton of bridge articles, and I've been reporting on this since January of 2024, and so some of the articles kind of slip through the cracks. I don't have time to go over absolutely every single thing, and Dentsu happened to be one of the things that slipped through the cracks. So, moving on to talking about Dentsu here, we have to talk about multiple people involved with Dentsu. So I replied to her, Dentsu came up in my bridge research last year, but I didn't get a chance to cover them specifically. Both Michael Roca of Omnicom's Elevate DEI program and Nick Brienne, the DEI acolyte that was appointed as interim CEO after the hostile takeover of Enthusiast Gaming, are involved with Dentsu. We have from Digital Direct Holdings, Cracking the Code, How Multicultural and Gen Z Reshape Mainstream Marketing. Digital Direct Holdings has released its second white paper revealing 81% of Gen Zers say multicultural and diverse communities greatly shape brand preferences. Mainstream tipping point has arrived as multicultural and diverse consumers drive brand choices for 57% of the general population. So, this white paper, which I'll go over a few of the pages because I've read some of them on stream before, but this white page goes over how if there are diverse voices shilling products, people are more likely to buy them. So if you want more people to buy your products, your commercials need to have underrepresented minorities. The content creators that you partner with need to be diverse, aka non-white. So it's an entire paper being like, anytime you partner with anyone, actors or content creators, you should prioritize non-white people, is what this entire white paper is about. And the participating companies in this study are Microsoft, Bayer, Colossus SSP, Dentsu, Publicis Media, Foster School of Business at the University of Washington, and NYU Stern. In collaboration with Horowitz Research, Direct Digital Holdings commissioned a survey of over 2,300 U.S. consumers to delve into the impact of Black, African American, Hispanic, Latin, AAPI, and LGBTQIA+ consumers' brand perceptions and purchase behaviors on the general population with a specific focus on Gen Z. This comprehensive report features both quantitative and qualitative exclusive research findings, complemented by insights from industry leaders and academics. It also showcases the importance of prioritizing outreach to multicultural and diverse consumers, as opposed to adopting a siloed approach for brands and agencies to reach Gen Z. The siloed approach was language that Cheryl Daija used in the very first video I ever saw of her. Both parties are responsible for evaluating DEI within the internal organization and in how their company is showing up in the marketplace. Typically, internal matters were left to chief diversity officers, while marketplace matters were left to the chief marketing officers. It unlocks this collaboration that didn't exist before, Daija said. Before, it was very siloed. IMAX creates a collaboration to allow all capabilities and practices to be dependent on each other, but also to leverage the power of each other. Where she was saying that current DEI policies are typically a siloed approach, and we need to stop that from happening. It needs to be an inclusive approach. You need to involve your marketing with the other employees. It can't just be off-held to HR and marketing. Everyone needs to be involved in DEI. Key takeaways: 57% of all consumers say that multicultural people have a big influence on their brand preferences and choices. 81% of Gen Z said that diverse voices have either some or a large amount of influence on them when making decisions. Across all major categories, food and restaurants, fashion, technology, and more, multicultural and diverse communities show significant influence on the brand choices of all consumers. That impact was dramatically higher among Gen Z. Findings should be viewed as a seismic shift for brands, making it a core imperative for advertisers to connect with multicultural and diverse consumers intentionally and authentically through marketing and media to promote broader sales. Understanding how to connect with this generation is crucial for shaping brand choices today and driving strong revenue in years to come. This research uncovers major influences on Gen Z, as well as the broader mainstream audience. So Mark D. Walker here, the chairman, co-founder, and CEO of Direct Digital Holdings, which is, again, who published this white paper. He says, "I've long held the belief that a key part of Direct Digital Holdings' secret sauce as a company is bringing diverse perspectives and experiences to the businesses we do. And I believe in sharing these perspectives to benefit the entire advertising industry. There's been much discussion recently on whether diversity and multiculturalism are shaping the attitudes and habits of consumers today. At the same time, we're hearing a lot about how to reach Gen Z, the most diverse demographic in history. Just how vital is multiculturalism and diversity for this specific demographic? Direct Digital Holdings is pleased to share new research that I think will have far-reaching ramifications, with the potential to completely reshape how marketers can and should target their future customers." Among many eye-opening findings from this new study was a whopping 81% of Gen Z say that multicultural and diverse consumers have a significant influence on their brand preference and choices. 72% of millennials said the same, compared to 48% of Gen Xers and just 32% of boomers. Simply put, among younger consumers, multicultural and diverse voices have a powerful impact on trends and buying preferences, one that extends well outside of their own communities. And while I read this, my brain immediately thinks to like massive streamers that people say, oh yeah, they're astroturfed. I almost never see anyone but like large media accounts talking about these people. How did they manage to get like millions upon millions of followers or viewers or hundreds of thousands of subscribers? You know, like the ones that are like astroturfed to all fuck. Very interesting. In fact, when you look at the generations collectively, a significant tipping point is revealed, as more than 57% of the general population is reporting that multicultural and diverse people have a major influence on their brand preferences. Considering that the size of the multicultural/diverse population in the US currently represents 40% of the market, this group is driving an outsized impact on what people choose to buy today. So they're saying 57% of people are more likely to buy products if they are shilled by non-whites. And even though that non-white people make up about 40% of the market at the moment, That means that they have even more impact on people's buying choices than what their representation actually is. Unfortunately, many brands are still stuck executing misguided mass market media plans and outdated multicultural spending allocations. However, there are signs of progress. A year ago, Direct Digital Holdings embarked on an extensive research project to better understand multicultural and diverse communities' perceptions of targeted advertising and media spending. Those results were profound. The majority takeaway from that earlier research was that Black, Hispanic, and Latin, AAPI, and LGBTQIA+ consumers in the US clearly notice and care when brands cater to them directly, and marketers who don't are leaving serious money on the table. Since then, we've seen more brands and media buyers reallocate ad budgets based on these findings through our side sell platform Colossus SSP. The same goes with our buy-side companies, Huddled Masses and Orange 142, which have seen marketers in categories that range from travel to entertainment moving more dollars toward targeting multicultural and diverse audiences. Thanks to this new research, highlighted in our just-released white paper, Cracking the Code, this is what we're reading, it's becoming clear that investing in niche media isn't just crucial for connecting with these diverse audiences directly, but with consumers across the board. Investing in niche media. I wonder what they could be talking about by niche media. Multicultural and diverse media spending is vital for brands hoping today to compete long-term, and thus the time is now for brands to rethink their media spending and creative strategies to match the diverse customer profile, and ultimately future-proof their business. The most recent US census found that the nation's population is more diverse than ever, as 34% of Americans identify as a race or ethnicity other than white, and 8% identify as LGBTQIA+. In other words, more than 2/5 of the US population is non-white or non-hetero. However, when it comes to the future of marketing, those numbers don't nearly tell the whole story. That's because for brands, that diversity figure may as well be 100%, given these groups' huge and growing influence on where people shop, what they buy, what they watch, eat, and so on. That's really weird that they're just like, yeah, it might as well just be 100% diverse, quote unquote. An overwhelming majority of Gen Z consumers, some 81%, revealed that a huge influence on their brand preferences and choices comes from multicultural and diverse people, as did 72% of millennials, and that's in contrast to 48% of Gen X and 32% of boomers. Boomers, by the way. Percent who say multicultural people equals big influence on brand preferences and choices. And here's their graph. And in small text it says, please note that the term multicultural collectively includes Black, African American, Hispanic, Latin, Asian American, Pacific Islander, and LGBTQIA+ consumers throughout the study. That's among the many revelations from this new study conducted by Horowitz Research on behalf of Direct Digital Holdings, which found that among younger consumers, multicultural and diverse voices have a powerful impact on trends and buying preferences, one that extends well outside their own communities. With younger consumers leading the way, research has uncovered a major turning point for the whole of the US population. While about 40% of the country is multicultural/diverse, these collective audiences maintain an outsized sway over the marketplace overall, as the research found that 57% of the general market consumers report that multicultural people have a major influence on their brand preferences and choices. I like how they've repeated themselves like 4 times already. The majority of all consumers say that multicultural people have a big influence. 57% multicultural people equals big influence on brand preferences and choices. 33% said multicultural people equals some influence on brand choices and preferences. And 10% said that multicultural people equal no influence at all. Indeed, multicultural and diverse audiences may be the most important force in consumer marketing today, and soon will dominate the landscape. As Allison Ciccione, Director, US Media at McDonald's put it, multicultural is the mainstream. Brands that don't recognize this reality today risk being left behind tomorrow. And while some brands, such as McDonald's, are well on their way, others appear to be already behind the curve. These groups have long been disproportionately influential, said Dr. Marcus Collins, Clinical Assistant Professor of Marketing at the University of Michigan, Ross School of Business. And today, cultural circles are more heterogeneous than ever. Marketers have been a little slow to this, particularly the impact and influence of network effects. Our hope is that that will soon change. According to Pew Research, Gen Z encompasses people born between 1997 and 2012. Per the US Census, half of Gen Z respondents and almost as many millennials reported being an ethnicity or race other than white/non-Hispanic. And here is like a little racial makeup. Half of Gen Z, almost half of millennials already identify with an ethnicity or race other than white. So Gen Z has 50% identify as white, and then the other 50% is blocked off as Hispanic, Black, AAPI, other, multiracial. Millennials are 54% white, Gen X 59% white, Baby Boomers 71, Silent Generation 77. Damn, that is a tall drop from 71 to 59. Holy shit. So they're saying white people are getting replaced. Shh. You're a bigot if you don't use subversive language to say that. Identification as LGBTQIA+ is increasingly significant among younger consumers as well. Baby boomers were 97% straight, Gen X 94, millennials 84, Gen Z 77% straight. That is also a massive drop. Clearly, younger audiences are coming of age in a far less white-dominated era, which partially explains their expectations regarding representation and support from the ad community. However, the research found that Gen Z's predisposition toward inclusion isn't just driven by their own diverse makeup. Rather, this group appears to exhibit a fundamentally different point of view regarding fairness, influence, and culture, prioritizing diversity while championing equality. Millennials and Gen Z have grown up in very different environments, said Mark Prince, SVP, Head of Economic Empowerment at Dentsu Media. This research reinforces the importance and expectations of these consumers. When it comes to supporting, even demanding diversity, they're not playing. It's part of who they are. So much so that they appear to watch closely for others being excluded. Gen Z makes decisions around these issues, said Esther Uduehi, Assistant Professor of Marketing and International Business at the University of Washington, Foster School for Business. It doesn't feel good to them to buy brands their friends can't, or when other groups are not included, Uduehi said. The thinking is, we can feel more included when we see other groups being included. That makes no fucking sense. Just because there's not an Asian guy in a McDonald's commercial doesn't mean an Asian guy can't buy McDonald's. I don't understand this logic. Like, what? Can't? That's what the fuck? Sorry, I can't buy this, I'm gay. What the fuck? You do not care who made the brand. Does the brand do the thing and do it well? Then I'll buy. Yeah, pretty much. I don't give a shit what brand is. Does brand do what they do well? Is product good? If yes, I want buy. Like, come on, man. In other words, it's not just about seeing themselves supported by ads or media spending. Gen Z seems to be keeping score about equality for all groups. If I met a person, regardless of what generation they're in, that has like a little notebook that keeps track of like the race or gender identity / sexuality of people they see in advertising or shilling products from a certain company, that would be really fucking weird. Like, there's no way. What's the scoreboard? Yeah, right? They are particularly vocal, said Kana Schmidt, marketing director of pain and cardio at Bayer. That's so weird to see fucking like Bayer, the aspirin company, on here. Like, what the fuck? Here's a quote. It is clear that when brands support diverse owned media and use genuine inclusive ad creative, it can boost trust, create brand love, and increase loyalty, said MJ De Palma, head of inclusive business impact at Microsoft. What was it? What was that video game guy that was like teaching people how to like monetize gamers, quote unquote, correctly? Where he was like, you need to turn fans into fanatics, right? It's like that kind of language. I love brand! Brand, tell me what to think! A recent Microsoft research report bears this out. Ads categorized as inclusive drove a 23-point lift in purchase intent, regardless of whether the person experiencing the ad was personally represented in the ad or not, the research found. It is clear that when brands support diverse-owned media and use genuine inclusive ad creative, it can boost trust, create brand love, and increase loyalty, said MJ De Palma. We read that. The question is, how do brands reach these diversity-first consumers? I think we all know, like, it's very interesting how they're saying, right, that, like, how do I phrase this? They're saying ads categorized as inclusive drove a 23-point lift in purchase intent, regardless of whether the person experiencing the ad was personally represented. So, like, would the way to counter this be, like, as a white person, I'm not going to buy anything that shows a diverse cast in the advertising? That would be like a wild turn to have to go to. And it would be interesting to see if that had any impact whatsoever. Going in circles, it's not only who you know. As a part of the researchers' overall efforts toward measuring the influence of different groups on today's consumers, the team elected to specifically examine the impact of people that consumers are closely connected to, versus those with whom they have less direct connections, to assess for any major differences. The study found that regardless of demographic, consumers are uniquely and distinctly impacted by 3 different key circles. One thing we share is that we're all influenced by people around us, those we are most closely connected to, and also by those with whom we have less direct connections. Respondents were asked about the cultural composition of each of their circles. People closest to us form the inner circle, family, close friends, etc. People in the social circle are those we see or interact with on the course of living life, for example, co-workers, other people in the community, people from organizations one is a part of, etc. The cultural circle includes celebrities, influencers, and other public figures we follow on social or other media. It's me, I'm in your circle! Multiculturalism is already evident in all consumers' lives at every level of connection, with significant majorities of consumers saying that at least some diversity exists across all their levels of connection. Racial, ethnic, sexual, among total market, diversity of consumers' inner social and cultural circles. At least some are another race, ethnicity, or sexual identity, 72% total of the inner circle, 86% total of the social circle, and 86% total of the cultural circle. At least half are another race, ethnicity, or sexual identity, 32% in the inner circle, 49% of the social circle, and 53% of the cultural circle. And then it breaks down all the different colors in each circle. The purple being almost everyone identifies as my race, ethnicity, sexuality. The yellow is half identify as my race, ethnicity, sexuality. And orange is I'm the only one with my race, ethnicity, sexuality. And then blue is most identify as, and then black is most identify as something else. The circles of Gen Z and millennial consumers are, at all levels, more diverse than those of their older counterparts. Gen Z consumers are the most likely to say that their connections at every level are primarily more than 50% diverse. And there's like little charts here that break down the inner social and cultural circle by generation. Increasingly, each of these circles are marked by a diverse makeup that was only sometimes the case just a few decades ago. But you have to remember that as much as we are skeptical of these statistics, and we know how much these people lie, and we know how much they've used studies that have been completely fucked around with previously, these again are papers meant to be read by industry insiders and corporations. So these are the things that corporations are using to inform themselves about how to do marketing. So it doesn't matter if we're looking at these statistics and we're like, that's made the fuck up, nobody cares. The companies are using these statistics. Increasingly, each of these circles are marked by a diverse makeup that was only sometimes the case just a few decades ago. A full 72% of the general pop said that members of their inner circle are of a different race or sexual identity than their own, while 86% said the same about both their social and cultural circles. Put another way, multiculturalism and diversity were present in all consumers' lives at every level of connection. However, among younger consumers, this diversity within their key circles of influence is much more pronounced. For Gen Z consumers, their connections are primarily diverse, more than 50% across the board. This is really fucking weird, is it not? Cause like, shouldn't it not matter the like racial, ethnic, or sexuality makeup of your friends and family? Shouldn't it like not matter in any way, shape, or form? But these people are like hard engaged on what level of diversity people are engaged in. And it again makes me think back to Cheryl Dijja talking about how DEI should be embedded in every operation of a company so that everyone in the company is participating in the DEI work, whether they're aware of it or not. And that after work, you should be taking that DEI work to your dinner table as well. All you hope for when these globalist fucks are done is your city is renamed to Sector 69. Can't have diversity if your only friend is yourself. Like, I've never thought about like diversity in my friend group. They are just my friends. Like it's weird. For example, just 25% of Gen Z say the members of their inner circles identify as the exact same race, ethnicity, and sexual identity as they do. In contrast, a significantly higher share of boomers, 36%, report a lack of diversity in their inner circles. This diverse by default dynamic colors their thinking on just about everything. Certainly, brand preferences and product decisions. 36% of boomers report a lack of diversity in their inner circles. Doesn't that mean that 64% of their inner circle is diverse? Doesn't that mean that it is still overwhelmingly diverse? What What is this wordplay? That seems low. You'd think tokenizing your circle like they're the cast of Captain Planet would be more racist. It's like, ah, shucks, man. I already have a black friend. I can't have another one until I collect a Pacific Islander.
We need help.
You mean...
Exactly. We must do as Gaia advised. We must combine our powers.
This diverse by default dynamic colors their thinking on just about everything, certainly brand preferences and product decisions. A few years ago, McDonald's realized it had lost the young consumer, an important subset of the multicultural segment. A generation that was so crucial to the brand's future was turning away from the brand. We said, we've got to win this audience, said Caleb Pearson, Vice President, U.S. Customer Engagement at McDonald's. The fast food giant had long relied on its pillars of convenience and value in its messaging. Except now, fast food is no longer fast, convenient, or a value. While getting caught up in offering constant promotions, we needed a shift in how we go to market. That required attempting to make McDonald's resonate with Gen Z by leaning heavily into what is driving culture today. First, they had to figure out how to communicate with this demographic, which had just graduated from Happy Meals but may not be fully living out on their own. They care about convenience and value in their lives, said McDonald's CCO. And as you start looking at the audience and how diverse they are, they really care about personalization. To that end, the company rolled out Fan Truths, where McDonald's celebrated the go-to orders of celebrities such as Travis Scott. And I think, like, this could have been done a lot better, once again pointing to the way that, like, Japanese video games do marketing and shit. Like, there were a lot of people who could go to a McDonald's and be like, oh, this is what Travis Scott orders, I'm gonna order the same thing. But if you ordered, like, the Nicki Minaj meal, nobody would have any idea what the fuck you're talking about because that wasn't, like, on their official menu. You know? So instead of, like, using these celebrities to be like, this is what I typically buy at McDonald's, I think it would have been much better if they had, like, made an actual meal. Like the Wednesday Addams thing that they have going on now, right? Where you could actually purchase the specific, like, Wednesday box meal. That would have made a lot more sense. The focus on young cultural icons has continued in recent years, including a marketing partnership with the collectibles fan artist known as Kerwin Frost.
Who?
Who the fuck is Kerwin Frost? Along with a tie-up with the UK streetwear brand Palace. I also don't know that. Beyond marketing, McDonald's has even tweaked its menu to respond to Gen Z's preferences in makeup. For instance, over the past few years, the brand has rolled out adult Happy Meals. A cactus plant flea market box. What? While pushing spicy affair and even featuring a limited time offer of Mambo sauce. Were they trying to capitalize on the Szechuan sauce craze from Rick and Morty? McDonald's has made a concerted effort to expand the pool of outlets it works with, such as streaming audio partners outside of Spotify, which cater to a more diverse owned properties overall. They're driving so much of the influence, said CCO. It's really changed how we approach the general market. It's really a new definition of mainstream, one that requires a very different media buying approach. McDonald's, long a creature of big traditional media investment, instead shifted away from linear TV and radio, and currently spends 84% of its dollars on digital media. That's a shift from 10 years ago, said CCO. But moving more money to digital platforms wasn't enough. McDonald's has made a concerted effort to expand the pool of outlets it works with, such as streaming audio partners outside of Spotify, to cater to more diverse-owned properties overall. LaShonda Goffin, CEO of Colossus SSP, points out that to battle the pervasive multicultural media scale, a proactive, educated investment is vital. The fuck does that mean? To battle the pervasive multicultural media scale? What does that even mean? Like, when you buzzword so hard. This has forced the brand to think outside of the traditional marketing mix modeling. We needed to be audience-led versus partner-led and media-led, said CCO. This notion of intersectionality has reshaped how brands go to market. We're trying to not think of communities in buckets, but instead more holistically. We aspire to be the most inclusive brand in the world, she added. It's not always easy to pull off this level of change inside a large traditional organization. But it's crucial for brands looking to grow, share, which McDonald's has in recent years after righting its relationship with Gen Z. This completely aligns with our businesses, said Pearson. If we want to win, we need to create culture and build that ecosystem. What an interesting way to phrase that. Do you guys remember the McDonald's commercials coming out of McDonald's Japan of just like nice wholesome family with their child eating McDonald's? Look at all of this gobbledygook we've been reading. Look at what they need to do to mimic a fraction of McDonald's Japan's power. Why can't we do that? Because of people like this writing this fucking white page, dude. Diverse voices on brand and product choices. Gen Z's preference for multicultural and diverse influences cuts across nearly every product category. They care about and prioritize multiculturalism, added Uhady at the University of Washington. I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say I don't feel like people watch a commercial and they're prioritizing multiculturalism therein. I probably wouldn't have even started noticing the races of people in commercials if I hadn't started reading more stuff like this, talking about how it's necessary. I would have just been like, oh yeah, that's a commercial. The influence of multicultural people on all consumer brand choices and preferences is manifest across all major brand categories today. Here's the percent who say multicultural people equal big or some influence on brand preferences and choices among all consumers. We have 69%.
Nice.
Say that there is some or big influence on brand preferences among clothing, accessories, jewelry. 74% for entertainment choices like TV shows, music, movies. 69% how you present yourself, which is personal care, makeup, hair, etc. Technology you use, phones, TV, computers, gaming. 66% say that multicultural people have a major or somewhat influence. Your cooking, food, restaurant choices. 81%. What the hell? 69% how you style your home, furniture, lighting, decorations, art, etc. How you care for your home, laundry products, cleaning products, etc. 65%. The types of vehicles and cars that you like. 61%. That's the lowest category. Multicultural people's influence on brand preference and choices across all major brand categories is even greater among Gen Z. This is the percent of people who say multicultural people equal big or some influence on brand preferences and choices. And for Gen Z, it's 89% for the what you wear compared to 69% of all consumers. Entertainment, Gen Z is 88% compared to 74% among all consumers. How you present yourself, 87% Gen Z compared to 69% all consumers. Technology you use, 76% Gen Z versus 66% all consumers. How you style your home, 81% of Gen Z say multicultural people equate big or some influence on brand preferences in comparison to 69% of all consumers. How you care for your home, 82% of Gen Z versus 65% of all consumers. And the type of vehicles and cars you like, 76% of Gen Z versus 61% of all consumers. Consider fashion, 89% of Gen Z said that diverse voices have either some or a large amount of influence on them when making decisions, in comparison to 69% of the general population, according to the new Direct Digital Holdings research. Or another example, music, hip-hop has dominated the Billboard charts for several decades. However, its influence goes well beyond music, extending to brands worldwide, such as the German streetwear maker Hispanobiety? I don't know what that means. More recently, we've seen the influence of Asian culture continue as Korean artists from the K-pop world are heavily followed by Gen Z audiences, noted Talmai Sardari, Clinical Associate Professor of Marketing, New York University, Stern School of Business, who has studied Gen Z extensively in her work covering marketing for fashion and luxury brands. And in recent years, the micro-nail trend came to the US through Asian American and Pacific Islander communities with heavy influences in the fashion, music, and entertainment worlds. As someone who has listened to K-pop since I was a teenager and have listened to a lot of like visual K music from Japan as well as importing clothing from Japan, yeah, I just kind of like some things. I don't think about the diversity of it. I'm just like, I like this, therefore I buy it. I'm like, what? Diversity doesn't even enter my mind when I buy these things. Along those same lines, she pointed out that marketers from Nike to Uniqlo have collaborated with anime artists. I'm an anime. There are numerous examples like this across multiple industries, including even basic products such as laundry detergent and cleaning products, where, according to findings from the Digital Direct Holdings survey, 82% of Gen Z leans on diverse groups' influence compared to 65% of the general population. That even goes for everyday staples like pain relievers. A recent campaign for Aleve was set in an African-American hair salon. The brand took pains to lean on its own DEI council and experts in the category to get the look, feel, and tone just right, explained Byers Schmidt. Yeah, you know, I've never been influenced to buy a painkiller based on any kind of commercials for it. I don't think I could even remember a commercial for a painkiller that I've seen in my life. I'm the kind of person that calls everything aspirin And then people have to be like, Kirsche, there's a difference between aspirin and ibuprofen. And if you give someone allergic to aspirin and aspirin, like, there's going to be a bad time. And it's like, well, if you're allergic to aspirin, then don't ask me for a painkiller, because I'm not going to know the fucking difference, buddy. I hope you know. It's not just how we reach them, but how we talk to this audience, said Schmidt. You need authenticity. You can get it right or so wrong. That applies to nearly every aspect of the marketing process. How is our consumer base represented? Is it part of the brief, reflected in casting, etc.? Diversity is a must throughout. That sums up the opportunity in front of brands and the inherent risk. Marketing to these communities requires a research-driven effort. Our brand clients have been asking to expand their reach into multicultural and diverse audiences as more so-called niche communities rapidly become mainstream, said Maria Vilches Lowry, Chief Growth Officer at Direct Digital Holdings. However, it is vital that we understand their distinct nuances in order to reach them authentically and drive sales as well as long-term loyalty. Our brands stuck in a general market mindset. Arnetta Whiteside, SVP Multicultural Consulting Agency and Brand Readiness at Publicis Media, said that in the traditional marketing world, when it comes to capitalizing on the broad influence of multiculturalism, inertia is a problem that still needs to be solved. When we talk about the general market, even given the consensus projections over the last 20 years of a multicultural majority, I thought this was a conspiracy theory. I thought you were racist if you brought it up. Brands sometimes tend to lump all people together by looking at past performance of white consumers, she said. The thinking is, I need to move my product today. Why would I mess with that? It's hard to get them to move away from that. Some marketers are extremely conservative, but we're seeing many of our clients leaning in to better reach diverse audiences and shift that legacy thinking. Ulhady concurred. In her experience, many marketers don't have the necessary methodology and understanding required to act upon the multicultural opportunity, and that requires institutional change. DEI is not just a moral imperative, it is a business necessity, remember, chat. I don't believe they are going as fast as they should be. They have to think about, what does it mean to have a modern marketing division? That likely requires hiring more executives from Gen Z and empowering them to make budgeting allocations. There is a disconnect between decision makers, she added. Their experiences are so different. I don't know if these quotes are going to be in here, so I'm just going to read them. Arnetta Whiteside, the SVP of Multicultural Consulting Agency and Brand Readiness at Publicis. Some marketers are extremely conservative. We did read that. Michael Roca. Michael Roca is an important name, once again. He is somebody in Omnicom. He is the director, it says here, executive director of Elevate, which is their DEI program. And Michael Roca works with Dentsu, which is how we are in this rabbit hole at the moment. I had this information in my archive since like March last year, but I did not get a chance to get to all of it. Beyond simply bringing in more generational talent, marketers and agencies must wrestle with crafting a media plan that targets multicultural audiences, hits the right mix of social and cultural circles, and influences the general market. The lines between plans are more and more blurry, said Schmidt at Bayer. Years ago, multicultural was a completely different marketing budget. Now, everything has to be inclusive. We're seeing a shift towards this thinking, states Natalie Hsu, Group Director at Digital and Programmatic Strategy at Dentsu Media. I'm seeing progress. Brands are paying attention. A great example of a successful campaign that resulted from collaboration across groups is the Cheetos Deja Tu Huela platform, which launched a few years ago with Spanish-speaking pop star Bad Bunny. That's a campaign that is led with Hispanic insights, said Michael Roca, Executive Director of Elevate, Omnicom Media Group. But when it comes to looking to penetrate different circles and coordinate targeting, there's a layer of complexity, Hsu said. If you have the data, you can do it. It's the measurement that's a challenge. To help meet brands halfway, University of Michigan's Collins advocates for what he calls a fireworks and campfire strategy, one that integrates mass communications with customized cultural touchpoints. He cited movie campaigns, which still pump out trailers to reach the broad market, but then often create unique campaigns aimed at specific influential audiences. Like removing the black men from posters in China. I get you, buddy. Talking to a smaller fraction of the audience didn't always make a lot of sense for brands, said Collins, but the impact and influence of network effects can set the force aflame. There was a time when brands had a Hispanic budget, a black budget, etc., said Roca. Today, it's everybody's responsibility to reach these audiences. Brands and agencies need to make this a business priority And the siloed approach, thank you Cheryl Dijah, doesn't work anymore. He continued by saying, increasingly, there are campaigns where multicultural insights drive the whole campaign, but more is needed. With Gen Z, it's about how you show up and where you show up. So what's next? Addressing the imbalance between the multicultural influence of Gen Z and the spending behavior of brands is a tricky problem to solve. As evidenced by the aforementioned McDonald's example, it often requires bold, unconventional thinking and deliberate action. It is critical to understand that there aren't always straightforward marketing routes to drive trends among Gen Z. Discovery is huge for them. Rather than taking direction from a marketing engine, the commercial environment, or brands, or employers, they prefer to listen to different voices. Said NYU's Sardari. They get a lot of ideas from peers and often dismiss authoritative voices. At OMG, the company has established a dedicated business unit, Elevate, which I went over in a previous stream at some point. We've definitely talked about Elevate, which embeds cultural practitioners within various teams inside the agency. Cultural practitioners are embedded within various teams inside the agency. Once again, Bridge is the one who wants this embedded throughout every corporation. The goal is to upstream the importance of multicultural spending in media and help uncover those insights and nuances, said Roca. The best way to make that happen is to ensure this starts from the get-go. It seems clear that just hoping media and ad strategies will become more equitable isn't enough. Agencies and brands need an intentional approach and vocal leaders to drive change. That's the thinking behind Prince's team at Dentsu Media, which sits across various key groups, including investments and brand strategy. You need people inside and you need advocates, he said. Insights are important, but so are the choices of media vehicles. As Gen Z's set off, multicultural groups want to see brands support their media. Trusted voices matter, said Prince. You really need to be able to own your voice and tell your story. Diverse owned properties that connect with those audiences have the full power to do that. It's such a weird way of thinking, man. Especially when they're just like, it's clear that hoping media will just eventually become more equitable, which again, danger word, equitable, isn't enough. Like, you have to force it. Now is the time to force behaviors, as it were. The future is right now! Clearly, the priority that Gen Z places on multiculturalism and diversity is helping to reshape the attitudes and preferences of the entire marketplace. If we don't speak to Gen Z now, we're going to lose out, said Andrea Fisher, Senior Manager, Media Strategy at Bayer. They're influencing the buying habits of their older generation. It seems evident that marketers need to hone in on what researchers are observing from this audience and take a proactive approach toward changing their tactics. The general market is being reshaped, and thus, most marketers need to reshape their own strategies and approach. In terms of measuring, we are sometimes doing things our own way, added Fisher. We're using MMMs for ROI. We're using brand lift from a qualitative standpoint, and we're trying to gauge the impact of multicultural marketing on the brand. The research is clear. Inclusive advertising builds trust, loyalty, and purchase intent for this generation, said Microsoft's De Palma. Combining inclusive advertising with a diverse-owned media buying strategy could really supercharge trust with this group. In fact, this research dovetails with Direct Digital Holdings' 2023 report, Dollars and DEI, Multicultural Consumers' Insights on Brands, Media Buying, and Marketing Practice, which found overwhelming evidence that multicultural and diverse audiences of all generations both notice and make brand decisions based on brands' demonstrated support of media vehicles targeted to their individual communities. The biggest takeaway was that major brands are leaving money on the table when they don't allocate budgets in a more representative fashion. Now it seems that brands may be risking not just growth, but their entire business if they don't shift gears. Because consumers overall are already connected with multicultural and diverse people at every level of their lives, and these connections drive their attitudes regarding marketing across the board. Cheryl Dijah, founder and CEO of Bridge, agrees we are at an inflection point for brands to remain relevant or disappear into infamy. Those brands who recognize the competitive advantage of being intentional, inclusive, and apply the same rigor against underrepresented audience as they do generally, will drive growth at scale and build a more sustainable and profitable future. Once again, forego any kind of short-term losses for the long-term cultural change and profitable future. They just talk and assume that the future belongs to them, as long as they do the work. Multicultural is the general market, said Dentsu's Prince. It's a mindset thing, but it's also really about growth. Marketing plans must reflect that dynamic. Therefore, as previously mentioned, we're at a tipping point. The level of multicultural and diverse influence has outpaced the population growth. Reaching and connecting with multicultural and diverse people must be the centerpiece of any brand's general market strategy today, lest they want to miss out on tomorrow. They're okay with short-term losses if they can shape the future for their benefit? Yes. This is why, like, every time someone comes out and they're just like, this company's getting rid of DEI, we're winning, I'm like, no, here's how they're not getting rid of it, here's how they're changing, here's how even in their press release they said they're doubling down and they're committed to DEI, but you're apparently illiterate. And then also, with the bridge instructing people, like, yeah, there might be some short-term losses, but that is acceptable if we are able to transform culture and get what we want. The study included quantitative research and analysis conducted by Horowitz Research. A total of 2,311 online surveys were conducted November 16 through 27, 2023. 1,021 general marketing interviews among 13 plus U.S. consumers, plus an oversample of 1,290 Black, Hispanic, and Latin and AAPI consumers. Data have been weighed as needed to ensure results are representative of each of the individual segments and the U.S. population as a whole. Across all races, ethnicities, and sexual identities, Gen Zers say that multicultural people collectively have a big influence on their brand preferences and choices at rates significantly higher than that of all consumers generally. And we have white, non-Hispanic among Gen Z. 67% say that diversity has an influence. 40% general consumers. And once again, it's kind of like that graph. Those little what are they? The like little plot graphs that show how like each individual race views their race as like more favorable than all the other races, except for white people, where they just kind of like view every other race as like a favorable race other than their own. This is like a result of like the colorblind teaching, where white people are like, yeah, we want to be colorblind. We don't want the racisms. We want to just get along with fucking everyone. Whereas everyone else is like, yeah, no, fuck that. Okay, so they're basically just like, yeah, if any of this information is incorrect, or if you lose any money because you took our advice, yeah, we're not responsible, okay? All right? They have a disclaimer for the fucking... Well, they have to have a disclaimer when they use fucking bunk-ass research, but here's the end of it. The participants in this study... If streaming doesn't work out, you have a career reading side effects at the end of pharma commercials. We have Allison Cicione, Director of U.S. Media at McDonald's. Mark Prince, SVP, Head of Economic Empowerment, Dentsu Media. Dentsu right up there, baby. Dr. Marcus Collins, Clinical Assistant Professor of Marketing, University of Michigan, Ross School of Business. Michael Roca, Executive Director of Elevate, Omnicom Media Group. Cheryl Daja, Founder and CEO of Bridge. Kana Schmidt, Marketing Director of Pain and Cardio at Bayer. MJ DePalma, Head of Inclusive Business Impact, Microsoft Advertising. Tomai Sardari, Clinical Associate Professor of Marketing, New York University Stern School of Business. Andrea Fisher, Senior Manager, Media Strategy, Bayer Consumer Health. Natalie Hsu, Group Director, Digital and Programmatic Strategy at Dentsu Media, second Dentsu. LaShonda Goffin, CEO of Colossus SSP. Esther Uedi, Assistant Professor of Marketing and International Business, University of Washington, Foster School of Business. Maria Vilches Lowry, Chief Growth Officer at Direct Digital Holdings. Mark D. Walker, CEO and co-founder of Direct Digital Holdings. Caleb Pearson, Vice President of U.S. Customer Engagement, McDonald's. And Arnetta Whiteside, SVP, Multicultural Consulting, Agency and Brand Readiness at Publicis Media. And that is the end of the white page. Once again, Dentsu being involved in cracking the code, how multicultural and Gen Z reshape mainstream marketing. And to recap on who Michael Roca is, Burt's Bees is the first brand using Omnicom's Diverse Creators Network. A Black beauty creator heads a Burt's Bees Twitter-only campaign. Burt's Bees is the first brand to launch a campaign through Omnicom Media Group's Diverse Creators Network, which launched this summer to help marketers connect with more BIPOC creators. And I wonder why this is a thing at all, right? Because I feel like content creation is one of the most accessible fields to people. Like, it doesn't matter who or what you are. If people find you interesting, or if you catch the luck of the algorithm, like, people will come and watch you. And so it's weird that there needs to be like this this push, especially in brands, to specifically target specific demographics in this manner. The effort kicks off today with a 5-week campaign on Twitter featuring a black skincare influencer promoting Burt's Bees lip balm. The Clorox company brand has plans for an additional campaign later this year. Following the May 2020 killing of George Floyd, Saint Floyd of the fentanyl, in his name we pray, amen. Like, what the fuck does this guy have to do with pushing a campaign directly targeted at black creators? What does he have to do with anything here? Why bring him up? It doesn't make sense. Why do people try to idolize this dude? And subsequent movement around racial injustice, brands and agencies across sectors have increased their commitments to engage with more BIPOC creators who witness inequalities in pay and opportunity. Welcome to content creation. There's inequalities in pay and opportunity for literally every single individual. That's just the industry, baby. I don't know what you mean by this. It's like, you gotta rely on a little bit of luck catching eyes in the algorithm. Your race doesn't matter. Your sexuality doesn't matter unless you're making that your entire content for some reason. Earlier this summer, Omnicom launched the Diverse Creators Network, DCN, to connect brands with millions of diverse content creators and diverse media in partnership with Twitter and 2 other platforms yet to be announced. See, this is privilege. The fact that simply because of your skin color, communities and companies are going to want to elevate you above other content creators to give you more opportunities ahead of other people. That's a bit strange. Why wouldn't this be open to all content creators? DCN has attracted interest from other brands such as McDonald's, Georgia Pacific, State Farm, and the CW. Scott Hagedorn, CEO, Omnicom Media Group North America, told Ad Age earlier this summer. The star of the program's first campaign is Tiara Willis, a licensed esthetician with more than 275,000 followers on Twitter, where she shares beauty and skincare advice for women of color. Pre-roll videos on Twitter will appear ahead of her content as a part of a Twitter Amplify sponsorship campaign. The pre-roll videos will direct viewers to Burt's Bees site, where lip balms and flavors like coconut and pear, honey and cucumber mint can be purchased. It's like, if she's already a beauty influencer and she specifically is like, hey, you know, it's hard to find beauty pics that sometimes match like our skin tone. I'm going to help out here. I'm going to show you beauty products that work with your skin. Why start by saying that you've reached out to her as part of like a program to elevate specific skin color people? Shouldn't she have earned this position by way of actually being both a licensed esthetician and someone who has amassed a large following on Twitter? Wouldn't she just in general be deserving of something like this? Like, that just doesn't make any sense. The next iteration of the campaign, Burt's Bees, will work directly with other DCN creators to craft original content around specific creative briefs. While Burt's Bees has used influencers for the past decade and has sought diverse perspectives, the brand still realized it could do even better, according to Erica Santos, Associate Director of Paid Media at Burt's Bees. Part of fostering diversity and inclusion is recognizing how you can continue to do better, as well as address gaps inherent in the system, such as diverse creators not always receiving equity in pay. Nobody deserves equity in pay. That is like a false equivalency, or credit for their content, says Santos. While Burt's Bees did not reveal the budget behind the campaign, Santos says it represents a sizable portion of the brand's campaign budget this quarter, and that it plans to invest more in the second phase depending on how it performs. Barry Wade, Managing Director of Cultural Partnerships at Omnicom, says DCN surfaces diverse media partners and creators that otherwise could be overlooked when using other planning filters. Again, if she had like 275,000 followers, how would she be overlooked? That's a pretty sizable following for like a beauty person, you know? The DCN, he said, leverages data to give agencies a better insight into the true influence of a diverse creator's reach and impact. What does that mean? What do you mean by this? Are you weighting like a quote unquote diverse creator on a different kind of metric than you do a white creator? Because if so, that's kind of fucking weird. That's kind of fucking strange, if so. It also offers a scale with the ability to elevate several creators at once to further drive efficiency, says Santos. The DCN is being offered through Omnicom agencies Hearts and Science, OMD, and PhD. Ultimately, we know how important these voices are, and that influencers are a key to our strategy of connecting in a credible, relatable way with our consumer base, which is also evolving as more diverse consumers choose Burt's Bees, said Mitch O'Fury, Director of Marketing at Burt's Bees. Durham, North Carolina-based Burt's Bees is the leading lip balm brand in the world. Or sorry, in the U.S. I said world. I don't know why. I'm sorry. Leading lip balm brand in the U.S. Correction.
Every country in the world belongs to America.
In 2019, the brand reported $140 million in sales, while parent company Clorox saw a boon during the pandemic. That uptick is starting to wane. Clorox overall sales fell 9.1 in its latest quarter, missing analysts' expectations. Omnicom has 2 more articles about their diverse creator program. Omnicom looks to build a database of certified diverse creators. Omnicom will encourage its creators to apply for NMSDC certification. In an effort to support and diversify the creators its clients work with, Omnicom Media Group is looking to help creators get certified. The agency is working with the National Minority Suppliers Development Council, otherwise known as NMSDC, an organization that certifies and supports minority-owned businesses, to certify OMG's creators as minority business enterprises, or MBEs. Our goal in partnering with the NMSDC, the gold standard for minority-owned certification, is to build the industry's only database of certified creators, enabling a new media channel for diverse investment. OMG North America CEO Scott Hagedorn said in a statement announcing the partnership. OMG is encouraging creators to apply to the program, but isn't making application or certification mandatory. Being a content creator and getting noticed and having things take off and even having the algorithm favor anything you make is already hard enough. Having the industry butt in and create databases of diverse quote-unquote creators that companies can choose to partner with is going to make things that much harder and make certain people look that much more astroturf. Omnicom's Diverse Content Creators Network, announced in June of this year, again this was in 2021, helps to connect brands with thousands of diverse content creators across platforms, many with millions of followers. Creators include Tiara Willis, who was featured in a Burt's Bees Twitter campaign, Chef Aaron Sanchez, Latinx beauty expert, and Desi Perkins, and YouTuber Marquise Brownlee. To become a certified MBE, creators will have to follow the same criteria as large companies. They need to be a U.S. citizen, a for-profit enterprise, and physically located in the U.S. They must be at least 51% minority owned and operated. Once approved, creators can display a badge on their social media or website saying they are MBE certified. We usually certify complex corporate structures, but creators should have simpler structures, said Ying McGuire, CEO of NMSDC. She adds that NMSDC will aim to simplify and automate this process to cater to technology-savvy creators. We know that they don't like paperwork. OMG has set a goal of sponsoring NMSDC certification for 500 diverse creators by the end of 2022. The partnership is aimed at building up diverse investment channels and supporting creators of color. After the May 2020 killing of George Floyd, Saint Floyd of the fentanyl, in his name we pray, amen. They can't help themselves! There's no reason to bring him up in this article! Consumers pushed for brands to be held accountable for their ad spending, causing brands and agencies to increase commitments to diverse creators and media channels. This summer, brands like McDonald's and General Motors pledged to invest in diverse-owned media, as have agencies like Group M and Publicis. Omnicom partnered with Colossus SSP, a supply-side platform that delivers a diverse marketplace. Colossus SSP, if we go back to this cracking the code direct digital holding paper, here we go. LaShonda Goffin, CEO, Colossus SSP. This shit's all connected, buddy. It's all fucking, it's a circle. OMG will also reimburse creators' application fees through a grant program. So they're literally paying creators to get this like special business designation to then get on a special designated content creator list in order to be prioritized for sponsorships and collaborations with businesses, which will then pump more money into these content creators, which again, this will be seen as equitable, but it is not equality. These people are being given a privilege. OMG and its social media platform partners will fund the grant program, but NMSDC will administer the funds to creators. NMSDC, which started as a federal charter in 1972, is now a membership organization with 1,500 corporate members, according to McGuire. It also has more than 12,000 certified minority business enterprises. The goal of the organization is to create opportunities to connect corporations with MBEs. We want our corporate partnerships to be able to leverage MBEs in non-traditional areas, said McGuire. Our partnership with Omnicom is a good fit because they have the creator relationships, and this will let NMSDC NMSDC move into the future. The future will be tech-enabled and inclusive of all minorities and ages. I've been talking about how Bridge has wanted to usher in content creators into being part of the messaging. Campbell's Soup has spearheaded several initiatives that have gotten zero traction somehow with massive content creators. There's an entire like Campbell's Soup and NFL Friday nights thing on Twitch that gets like next to no interaction. How much money are they spending on this? Where is the money going? What is the money for? It's just all this really weird, incestuous kind of circle. This is in 2022. Omnicom partners with NGL Collective to highlight Hispanic creators. The partnership is aimed at expanding diverse media investment. In an ongoing effort to support and diversify the creators its clients work with, Omnicom Media Group has partnered with Latinx Media Group NGL Collective to help brands connect with Hispanic creators and their audiences. OMG's Diverse Content Creators Network, announced in June of last year, helps to connect Omnicom clients with thousands of diverse content creators across platforms, many with millions of followers. Creators include Tiara Willis, who was featured in a Burt B's Twitter campaign, Chef Aaron Sanchez, Latinx beauty expert Desi Perkins, and YouTuber Marquis Brownlee. NGL Collective, those are the exact same names written in an article a year ago. Do they not have anyone else they can write here? What is this? NGL Collective, which stands for Next Generation Latinx, recently merged with digital media company MeToo and will provide content and help distribute campaigns activated through the Diverse Content Creators Network. Hispanic audiences are some of the youngest, and they index heavily with social media, which is an instrumental piece of this partnership, said Michael Roca, Managing Director of Diverse Investment at Omnicom. We often hear that clients don't invest in minority media because of the lack of reach and scale. We want to build that supply. We often hear that clients don't invest because of the lack of reach and scale. Okay, so couple questions. If clients don't invest in minority media because of the lack in reach and scale, how do we just have that article from 2023? Again, this one I'm reading is in 2022. The white page we read, I'm pretty sure either 2023 or 2024, that said that the diversity is what makes people buy. So which one is it? Are companies not wanting to invest in minority media because there's a lack of reach and scale? Or do more people, especially Gen Z, prefer to buy things from people who are minorities? I know there's like a 1 or 2 year gap between these things, but it's like, how do you go so wildly? And also, much like DEI hiring, where these DEI acolytes either hire their friends or hire completely unqualified people to get them into a position simply because they are another DEI practitioner. If somebody is lacking reach and scale, that is a reason that a company might not want to invest in them. Much like me hounding Razor for over 1,000 days, my reach and scale might not be enough for them to want to partner with me. I might be too small for them to think of any kind of investment would be worth it for them. That's not racist. That's not anti-white. That's not misogynist because I'm a woman. That's just my base is not big enough for them to want to do something. 100K on YouTube is not big enough. 100K on YouTube is like a drop in the bucket nowadays. And a lot of companies will still look at like someone's following instead of their average viewer count. Because for some reason, people in suits still think that like the following number is what your reach is rather than the number of people who are actively engaged with you. It's really weird. And I'm glad that some marketing teams are realizing that it's actually more determinant on your average viewers rather than your following count. But also, when you have a bunch of especially super large creators who are buying followers or who are view botting, that kind of skews the entire thing. And one of the things I was told when I was with Gameforge, before I signed a contract, the marketing manager that I was in contact with, he wanted to give me the experience of trying to negotiate pay for myself as a content creator. So he said, instead of us telling you what we're going to pay you, I want you to write up a brief asking us what you would like to be paid and what you think would be worthwhile. And so I did that, and all of them agreed that my structure was correct, like it was something they'd be willing to do based on my size and my reach and what I have brought already to the company and to Terra. However, they had issues in the past with paying by CCV because previous creators had view botted themselves in order to extract more money from Gameforge erroneously. Like these people were maliciously inflating view counts in order to get money that they did not deserve. And companies are catching on to that and are starting to offer less even if you have a robust base. That's textbook fraud. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. And I genuinely hate, I have a visceral hatred for content creators who use any kind of like follow botting or view botting in order to get a leg up and try to make themselves look like they're bigger than people who have done this organically. And especially as someone who's done this organically since 2018, it pisses me right the fuck off. The collaboration comes as Hispanics now represent 19% of the US population and held buying power of $1.9 trillion in 2020. The median age for Hispanic Americans is 29.8, nearly 9 years lower than the median age of 38.5 for the entire US population. And 31% of Hispanic Americans are younger than 18, compared to 22% of the nation, according to USA Facts, a data nonprofit. Now, can we redo this and figure out how many of them are here illegally? Omnicom is discussing the strategy today during an Advertising Week New York session titled Elevating Diverse Creators to Unlock Brand Growth. In October 2021, Omnicom worked with the National Minority Suppliers Development Council, NMSDC, an organization that certifies and supports minority-owned businesses, to certify Omnicom's creators as Minority Business Enterprises, or MBEs. For many brands, the MBE certification means spending on that creator can be marked as a diverse investment. Taxes! Meeting diverse media pledges, many of which were made in response to the killing of George Floyd. This is the second time in one article that they mentioned him, in 2020. Earlier that year, OMG held an in-front to highlight diverse media partners, including NGL. Certification is not required to be a part of Omnicom's Diverse Content Creators Network, but does make creators more discoverable to brands in the network. Omnicom also runs a grant program that reimburses certification fees, cutting down barriers to entry for creators. Colombian-American actress Zulay Hinao will be the first creator to go through the certification process as part of the new partnership.
Hi guys, I'm Zulay Hinao, actor and media entrepreneur. I am the founder and CEO of Modern News. We are a multimedia platform creating disruptive, inspiring, evolutionary content for
Disruptive and revolutionary content is a very weird way to describe what you do. And also, considering what her business is, does she need the leg up to be on a list of Omnicom content creators? It seems like she's doing real fucking well of herself.
Multicultural and diverse women. I'm elated to announce that my business will be getting MBE certified thanks to the National Business Development Council in partnership with OMG through the MBE Reimbursement Initiative. As Latino content creators, you do everything you can to share your unique voice and point of view on your platforms every day. But have you ever considered getting MBE certified? In the past, registering for an MBE certification could be really expensive, but not anymore. MSIs is happy to announce an amazing grant program thanks to the partnership with the National Minority Supplier Development Council and OMG Media with the support of the Diverse Creators Network. Together, they've created the media industry's only database of certified diverse creators. The grant program will help diverse creators receive reimbursement on application fees for qualified candidates seeking certification as a minority business enterprise. Creators who earn an MBE certification will be eligible to participate in a comprehensive media and advertising education program, plus attend workshops and seminars hosted at the NMSDC's annual national conference and regional events throughout the year. In addition, advertisers are looking for MBE certified content creators. That's us. You owe it to yourself to gain knowledge, connections, and visibility through being MBE certified. It will help you get equal access to brand opportunities. As you continue to level up your game, don't miss out on this important opportunity to help certify your business. To learn more about MBE certification and the amazing grant program, visit reimbursement.nmsdc.org/Omnicom.
Okay, bye. And over here it says, yes! At Modern Muse is getting MBE certified thanks to the certification reimbursement grant created by NMSDC and Omnicom Media Group in association with NGL Studios. Calling on all Latino content creators, learn the benefits of getting your business MBE certified. Tune into Hispanicize.com to learn about an amazing grant program that can help pay for all your application fees. It had 245 likes as of October 14th, 2022. Seems kind of low for her following Maybe she was like way smaller back then. That's kind of crazy. I am certain we will gain the visibility needed to create a solid revenue avenue for my company, Modern Muse, Zule said in a statement. Becoming MBE certified will be a stamp of approval in a way, and will ensure that we have an equal opportunity at strategizing and creating equitable partnerships with clients who are committed to a multicultural ad spend within their budget. Like this again, it should be a fine thing to do, but it should be open to everyone. It should not be just focused on specific ethnicities. That's weird. That's a weird thing to do. Omnicom isn't the only company working to put dollars behind Latinx creators. Influencer marketing company Influential recently announced a partnership with Unicom Media Group, a Hispanic-owned agency. There's a lot of talk about black culture impacting larger culture, and that's true, said Joe Bernard, Chief Revenue Officer at NGL. But that is also happening with Hispanic culture, so we need to improve the number of creators and help them with content and their business goals. NGL began as the NGL Consortium in 2001, founded by David Chittel and Ben Leff. The group originally carried out research studies on Latinx audiences for marketing and hosted TED Talks on the subject. In 2012, actor John Leguizamo, director Ben DeJesus, and former senior VP at NBC Universal Telemundo, Joe Bernard, repurposed the company to create content and run ads as the NGL Collective. This is about owning our narratives and telling our own stories, Leguizamo said in a statement. Working together, OMG and NGL will show the industry what can happen when you adjust the system to allow authenticity to trump algorithms, and you break down barriers to entry. Once again, content creation, in my opinion, is like the most barrierless form. It creates barriers when you start elevating certain people based on their sexuality, based on their gender, based on their skin color. This is where the barriers start coming into place, and people feel like it's difficult to actually get somewhere because all of these huge corporations are specifically only doing things with certain types of people. Here's Omnicom's website for the reimbursement. The NMSDC plus Omnicom Certification Reimbursement Initiative. This page, I'm pretty sure, is no longer operational. Omnicom Media Group is committed to helping diverse media owners and creators earn a more equitable share of advertising dollars. And we know that increasing their opportunities for the long term requires more than grandstanding during cultural moments. It demands a whole new approach to how marketers find and invest with these traditionally underrepresented groups. That's the goal of OMG's Diverse Creators Network, which elevates Black, Asian, Latinx, and LGBTQ. They just removed the gay from the gay acronym, erasing gay men in the media buying process, and now we're taking that effort another step forward with the NMSDC Certification Reimbursement Initiative. And I find it interesting. I'm wondering if this page being down means that they've ended the reimbursement, or if it means under Bridges' guidance they have made this more private than public. So I don't know if they're still doing reimbursement, but it's something you have to specifically go around and ask for, and it's not publicly advertised anymore. Because this, making lists of everyone who's non-white and elevating everyone who's non-white above non-white people simply because of their race or their sexuality in order to get them a leg up in a content creation atmosphere, that is resoundingly discrimination. So this would be something that a law group like, say, America First Legal would end up going after, like they have multiple other monetary initiatives that divided people based on immutable characteristics. Our goal in partnering with the NMSDC is to build the industry's only database of certified creators, said OMG North America CEO Ralph Pardo. In addition to reaping the benefits of being an NMSDC MBE, certified creators will gain additional visibility and consideration from our clients seeking talent for brand partnership. Eligibility to participate in Omnicom Certification Reimbursement Program requires that you or your company meet the following requirements. Must be a digital content creator or influencer with distribution across platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, who seeks to earn revenue through partnerships with brand advisors. Must be a United States citizen, must be at least 51% minority owned, managed, and controlled, must be independent for-profit enterprise and physically located in the U.S. or its trust territories. Management and daily operations must be exercised by the minority ownership members. Why NMSDC certification matters. Being certified by NMSDC means you've been recognized as one of the more than 15,000 high-performing companies across the United States that have completed what's widely considered to be the most rigorous MBE qualifying process. That matters because more than 1,500 local and national corporate members depend on certified MBEs and the integrity of NMSDC's certification. Corporate members count on the national organization and affiliate regional councils to be their trusted partners in helping to develop and connect MBEs with them to advance their company's commitment to economic equity, strengthen communities, and create employment opportunities for people of color, while also furthering corporate diversity and inclusion initiatives and optimizing supply chain resilience. If the NMSDC certification is simply a certification in pursuit of economic equity, and its specific certification is to create employment opportunities only for people of color, is this also not something that can be reported to either America First Legal for them to look into, or something like the EEOC? I'm not sure who you would report this to, but it sounds like it's something that should be looked into. About NMSDC, for the last 50 years, that's a long-ass time, National Minority Supplier Development Council has been connecting and advocating for the inclusion of minority businesses. That's because we believe every business deserves an unbiased chance. Isn't this, by definition, biased? And it's why our goal of ensuring representation and economic equity for minority businesses, enterprises of all sizes is at the heart of everything we do. Our strength is in our network of 15,000 certified MBEs, 1,500 national and local corporate members, and 23 regional affiliate councils that together serve as the growth engine for Asian, Black, Hispanic, and Native American MBEs. That same network also serves as the engine for impact that activates the commitment of our corporate members nationwide through development, engagement, and connection opportunities with NMSDC and its regional affiliates. So not white, yes. Everyone who's not white. The reimbursement process. After completing and submitting the form below, you will receive an email confirmation that your reimbursement request has been received and is being reviewed. NMSDC will follow up shortly thereafter with another email notifying you of one of the following outcomes. You are eligible for the reimbursement program and are being connected to the appropriate regional affiliate council to begin the certification process. You are eligible for a different reimbursement program for which NMSDC determined you qualify and are being connected to the appropriate regional affiliate council to begin the certification process. You can move forward with certification, but are not eligible for certification reimbursement. Or you are just not eligible for reimbursement or certification. That's really interesting, actually. So the first three revolve around being eligible for reimbursement and the certification program. And the third one specifically says eligible for the certification, but not the reimbursement. And the last one, I was like, you're not eligible for either of them. I wonder if it's like one or the other, or like both together. Once your certification is approved with the Regional Affiliate Council and you receive your certification number, you will then be provided with a link to the NMSDC form you will need to submit for your reimbursement. And I guess this is the submission form here. As the majority owner, are you a U.S. citizen? As the majority business owner, what is your ethnicity? African American, Black, Asian Indian, Asian Pacific, Caucasian, Hispanic, Native American? What is your primary industry NAICS code? How did you hear about this program? And the options for that are business associate or other referral, press release, social media, email, Goldman Sachs, 10,000 small businesses, other, or Walmart and Sam's Club referral? Well, that one's out of left fucking field. By checking this box, I understand that NMSDC and Omnicom will review this information to determine if I am eligible for the NMSDC certification reimbursement, and by clicking the submit below, I understand that submission of this form does not guarantee certification or reimbursement. So that's about the reimbursement program here. And then AIMM here has the strategic inclusion, empowering change and activating strategic inclusive solutions for employees, suppliers, and communities. You have empowering responsible leadership, enhancing marketing talent diversity, driving sustainable change through DEIB partnerships, fueling growth and innovation. BRG and DEI is bridge. Oh, fuck. That is kind of funny. Resources here, they have Understanding Native American and Other Indigenous Peoples Fact Pack, Understanding People with Disabilities. Remember that they started adding neurodivergent and other disabilities as another intersectionality with DEI in order to sort of covertly push more of the DEI tenets while overtly being like, oh no, we're talking about the disabled. We want more accessibility for those with wheelchairs or those with missing limbs. A DEIB maturity model, DEI self-assessment tool, DEI action plan, scorecard, ERG toolkit, supplier diversity toolkit, inclusive language guide. As a leader, I've been fascinated and learned a lot while being part of the supplier diversity task force. And then you can see like how to join and whatnot. It's just a big DEI organization, essentially. And they have their page here for diversity, equity, and inclusion. AIMM is committed to equality, inclusion, and systemic change. We are igniting the marketing and advertising industry to share the responsibility and accountability to get rid of industry systemic racism and institutional bias. Now, I'm watching all these pages on the Wayback Machine because they were not properly archived. My bad, dude. But all of these pages are deleted from the ANAA website, and AIMM no longer has these pages available. They are an entire company dedicated to nothing but DEI and ESG. So removing these pages, they were either completely reworked, like as you can see here, the live website. If you go to like About, it's a division of the ANA, the industry's leading voice in inclusive and cultural marketing, driving brand growth through cultural relevance and authentic representation of all consumer segments. And then they have the equity in investment and data, media marketplace, data transparency, cultural authenticity, strategic inclusion for business, and as well as strategic inclusion tools, hashtag see all, meet our industry-wide movement that maximizes ultimate corporate growth. Right, so they're literally only about DEI and ESG. AIMM DEI statement: we strive to be a compassionate, reflective learning community, actively reaching out to bridge differences for equity through the transformation of ourselves, our organization, and our industry. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. They have change agents, which is not a weird fucking name at all. AIMM brings together industry leaders to collaborate for the advancement of equity and social justice. DEI learning. AIMM creates opportunities to deepen the understanding of DEI and its alignment to the industry. Measuring DEI. What gets measured gets done. It is clear that a robust set of measures are required to track the effectiveness and impact. DEI partnership. Supplier diversity provides opportunities to increase market penetration across multicultural and inclusive segments. DEI resources take advantage of proprietary, industry-leading research, educational webinars, industry best practices and tools. And the AIMM Career Center find talent across the U.S., from executives to entry-level interns. And if you click Learn More on their partnership tab, supplier diversity and social impact partnerships, expanding the supply chain to underrepresented, disadvantaged, or underserved businesses, increases access and opportunities to do business and results in advancing the economic impact across these communities. And they have some reports here. And then you scroll down and they have supplier diversity resources, the power of supplier diversity report, ANA, AIMM certified supplier diversity, AIMM supplier diversity, non-minority certified and non-minority owned with a multicultural and inclusive specialty, March 2022. That's a whole lot of words to say this is owned by a white person who's supposedly an ally. AIMM supplier diversity, non-minority certified and non-minority owned with a multicultural and inclusive specialty, March 2022. 4A's BIPOC owned media companies, Free the Work, One Sandbox, WMC areas of expertise, media and entertainment, People of Color Creative Designer Directory, and then here, what we've been talking about this whole time, the Omnicom Media Group Certification Reimbursement. So they have the reimbursement program also listed on AIMM's page. Again, this is no longer findable through their live pages. And then just real quick, I'm not going to go through everything, but a lot of names here under their members are no longer publicly visible that I could see on their website. A bunch of these are also involved with Bridge. Wow. You have Target, Loud and Live, General Mills, Auto Proyecto LLC, Zeta Global, Big 3 Basketball, Avocados from Mexico, always in season, Uniworld Group, Banner Health, Sephora being one of the companies that spearheaded funding for Bridge, the Ad Council also involved with Bridge, L'Oreal, Wells Fargo, Glad, Progressive, McCann World Group, NGL Mitu, Danone, not to be confused with Dannon, the yogurt people. Sargento, no, the cheese! Sabio Incorporated, Equal Pride, Bowdoin General Motors, Georgia Pacific, AARP. 9 pages of people that they are partnered with here. We also have this. We have this that goes into our Dentsu kind of thing. The Anime Effect, Marketing Strategies for Brands in the US. We have Carlos Viejo Bueno, Gen Z creative strategist and data nerd. #1 article on Google for anime marketing, March 7th, 2024. Anime is no longer just a niche genre in the US, it's become a content powerhouse. The following 2-part report explores the exponential rise of anime's popularity in the US in the last few years, and how brands and marketers can tap into and engage with its fandom. Part 1 highlights the significant shift in content consumption patterns of Gen Z and Gen Alpha in the US in favor of anime, underscored by the pivotal role of digital streaming platforms and the genre's unique appeal across a spectrum of themes and narratives. In Part 2, strategies and case studies for companies to engage with the anime community, leveraging its rich storytelling, dedicated fandoms, and transmedia, are discussed and analyzed. This report not only charts the remarkable trajectory of anime's growth in the US, but also serves as a strategic compass for brands seeking to engage with an increasingly influential, yet discerning audience. Yeah, can anime go back to being niche? Can we go back to bullying people for watching anime? I miss being bullied for being an anime weeb. They have Part 1, Anime New Cultural Powerhouse. Part 1, Carlos Villoberno. Case Study 1, McDonald's Anime Transformation, the WCDonalds Experience. In an innovative homage to its unexpected but beloved place within anime culture, McDonald's, in collaboration with the global ad agency Vidin plus Kennedy, is launching the WCDonalds Experience in 2024. Directly inspired by the anime fandom's playful fan art of the fast food giant, the strategic initiative underscores McDonald's commitment to celebrating and authentically engaging with the anime community, which has affectionately incorporated WCDonalds into various anime narratives over the years. The world of WCDonalds is here. Source McDonald's Instagram. Well, this is telling you McDonald's is trademarking McDonald's so animes can't use it anymore, which is devious. How do you do, fellow Chinese cartoon enthusiasts? Tariq Hassan, McDonald's USA Chief Marketing and Customer Experience Officer, emphasizes the move as a tribute to fans' imaginative contributions to the McDonald's lore, seeing it as a way to authentically bring this fan-created world to life within McDonald's restaurants globally. The McDonald's rollout includes a new limited edition savory chili sauce for Wick Nuggets, infused with ginger, soy, and garlic, catering to fans' taste with an innovative flavor profile. Additionally, the collaboration with Japanese manga artist Aki Bright to redesign packaging introduced customers to McDonald's crew characters like Hashirune, Mr. Bev, and Wickdizer 3000, blending traditional McDonald's elements with manga ancestry. All right, I got a question. I don't know who Aki Bright is, so I'm gonna go ahead and just Google who that person is. And I'm gonna be real honest with you. His art style does not look like the art style that had the McDonald's thing in that LinkedIn article. His art actually looks really nice. So I don't know what artist drew that thing on their Instagram, but it certainly doesn't look like this guy. Okay, here's one. Aki Bright Studio Infinity. So here's some like McDonald's characters. They look so much better. Open image in new tab. They look so much better here than they did in that Instagram post. What the hell? Like, this does not look like he drew them. Ben Capshaw and Jeffrey Rosman from Vidin plus Kennedy highlight the comprehensive rebranding effort, including the iconic logo flip on packaging materials, transforming the mundane into manga. The detailed attention to authenticity extends to every aspect of the McDonald's experience, from the narrative content to the visual presentation. McDonald's partnership with Studio Perot to create 4 anime shorts encapsulates action, romance, mecha, and fantasy genres, offering something for every anime enthusiast. The what? McDonald's partnership with Studio Perot to create 4 anime shorts. I don't even remember this happening. What the hell is even this? Why wasn't this everywhere? Why didn't they use these ads more? This would have been like really neat to see, man.
Try new savory chili McDonald's sauce, only at McDonald's. Go!
That would have been really neat to see, man. You remember these pain? I don't remember these.
Kazuki-san.
Was this like their answer to the wholesome Japan ads, but then they just didn't put them anywhere? Like, what the hell? Oh no, she contaminated them!
Try new savory chili McDonald's sauce, only at McDonald's.
Like, that's cute. That's a cute fucking ad. They didn't show them to be brother and sister at the end of the romance commercial. Not real anime.
ここ月面基地のワクドナルドは大胆な旨辛ワクドナルドソースが毎日大人気だ。ミールを狙う怪人もいるが、このソースは無敵なのだ。ワックダイザー3000合体。このソースは無敵なのだ。
They failed at promoting their own content.
Try new savory chili McDonald's sauce, only at McDonald's.
I would have fallen for the subversive advertising by the DEI acolytes, chat. I like those commercials. I would have fallen for the subversion. They would have gotten me, chat. Look, man, I'm a simple guy. Kirsche, what do you mean? I have to actively remember that these commercials have been done by the Sloppa people.
ソースがなくなるなんて大胆で香ばしい。ここどこ？
ソースを守る英雄が現れた。
私ら？
ソースには時間がない。賢者のところへ早く。
私たちでソースって守れるの？やるっきゃないっしょ。
このフレーバーを我らの心に永遠に残せたなら、ソースへの執着を捨てられるだろう。
Try new savory chili McDonald's sauce, only at McDonald's.
バダッパ。
バババ。
Los Angeles hosts the inaugural real-life McDonald's dining experience, offering fans a tangible entrance into the anime-inspired world they've grown to love. The initiative, available for reservation on OpenTable, showcases McDonald's commitment to not just observing, but actively participating in anime culture. My culture is not your costume. Providing a multi-sensory experience that transcends traditional fast food dining. Strategic takeaway for brands. McDonald's concept illustrates the power of culturally responsive marketing, demonstrating how brands can leverage existing fan narratives to forge stronger connections with their audiences. The strategy highlights several key takeaways for brands aiming to tap into specific fandoms. You know, I find it really interesting that a lot of people who watch, like, especially Shonen Slop, they'll basically hate everything that's like the foundation of anime, and they'll rile against any kind of fan service. And a lot of places, especially if you look back at like the old G4 and old like gaming magazines, they'll constantly rail on how bad JRPGs are, to the point where I didn't even know that apparently JRPG was seen as a derogatory term because it was intentionally like singling out Japanese role-playing games from other ones and making them lesser than. And then they will just go ahead and co-opt anime and be like, yes, this is what resonates with the younger generation. The younger generation that dislikes the foundation of what anime is, and therefore the brands using it also fundamentally misunderstand it. Authentic engagement, McDonald's approach shows that genuine respect and understanding of fandom-born cultural media can transform a brand into an active participant in fan communities. Innovative product strategy by introducing unique flavors and themed packaging, brands can create buzz and drive engagement, turning ordinary products into collector's items, which have always been a big part of the anime fandom. Fast food places have always introduced FOMO items, and they've always had like unique partnerships with stuff, so I don't know why they have to specifically say that this is unique or like a big part of the anime fandom with collector's items. Maybe it's because weebs are more willing to spend like hundreds of dollars on a statuette of their favorite anime woman. I don't know, man. Narrative marketing, leveraging storytelling and content creation, allows brands to engage customers on a deeper level while helping to guide the narrative, making the brand experience memorable and shareable. Experiential branding, the transmedia marketing of a concept from screen to reality, exemplifies how brands can create immersive experiences that bring fan fantasies to life, enhancing brand loyalty. The McDonald's initiative by McDonald's sets a precedent for how brands can creatively engage with cultural trends and fandoms, turning playful references into robust marketing campaigns that resonate deeply with target demographics. This case study underscores the importance of authenticity, creativity, and strategic collaboration in crafting marketing initiatives that not only honor fan cultures, but also enrich the brand's narrative and customer experience. Ah, fuck, it's the pedophile game! Case study 2, Dentsu's expansion into Gen Z gaming and anime fandoms. In a move to deepen its connection with Gen Z, Dentsu, a Japanese international marketing and PR company, is significantly expanding its footprint in the gaming and anime sectors in 2024. This strategic move involves the formation of Dentsu Anime Solutions. I don't like that name. A subsidiary dedicated to anime licensing, content creation, and merchandise, and a pioneering partnership with Roblox, including Dentsu's commitment to exploring the metaverse and Web3 initiatives. Dentsu's venture into anime through Dentsu Anime Solutions comes at a time when the global anime market is poised for remarkable growth, projected to escalate from $28 billion in 2022 to approximately $60 billion by 2030. Yeah, and get your DEI out of my anime. Stop it. Get some help. The growth trajectory is fueled by the rising demand for anime content across streaming platforms and the burgeoning segment of merchandise sales. Yeah, even with like how incredibly popular Cyberpunk Edge Runners was, sorry chat, I found it boring, I couldn't finish it, but with how incredibly popular that was, there were still people who were very obviously tourists, and they couldn't handle even the creators of the anime telling them the lolly fucking stays in regards to Rebecca. Even now, there are people retarded enough to try and pretzel themselves into a million knots to try and explain how Rebecca's not a lolly, that's an adult woman. And it's like, yes, you fucking idiot! That is the entire point, holy shit! Recognizing anime's deep-rooted connection with digital natives, particularly Gen Z is posting on stolen land, who actively disseminate anime culture and content via social networks, Dentsu aims to leverage this momentum to offer innovative solutions that cater to both global and local brands. It's really weird that they're trying to like say that Gen Z is pushing anime anywhere. I have a folder of like 500 plus images of anime women wearing Trump hats. The anime people are native to the internet pipes. My culture is not your costume. Sei Matsumoto, the representative director and presenter of Dentsu Anime Solutions, highlights the pandemic's role in accelerating streaming consumption, further intensifying the global appetite for anime. Dentsu's initiative is not merely about the content distribution, but encompasses a broader vision to integrate anime into diverse brand and marketing strategies. A big draw to anime and mangos is that it's from Japanese culture. We are consuming something outside of our immediate culture, unless you do happen to live in Japan. But like, the draw for me was like, I enjoyed reading and watching these robust stories that came from a completely different country and a completely different culture. They were fun and exciting, and I got to like selectively learn some words that I also got bullied for, you know? Like, you know you were a weeb if you could repeat some words from anime and people gave you shit for it, you know? Do not touch my anime. And it's just like, when you look at English voice actors and you look at English localizers, because I'm not going to call them fucking translators, they bastardize everything that made anime interesting and endearing. And they try to shoehorn in like pop culture references that don't belong there. And I remember reading fan subs when I was younger, and they would bring up like a Japanese band or a Japanese politician, and as an American teenager, I'm not gonna know what the fuck those things are. But when I see a reference to it in an anime, I used my brain and I was like, I don't know what that is. Let me look up this thing. And then I would look it up and I would learn something. And instead of keeping in the native language, like the bands or the people that they mention, sometimes that's just changed for an American audience. So it's changed to like a Western politician or a Western band so that it's more understandable to the people consuming it. And I don't like that. I don't like that. Yeah, translator. Bring back translator notes. I fucking love that shit, man. That's when you get the translator notes and fan subs. Man, those were so good. It's like, you get the fucking meme where it's like, you know, one sentence on the bottom of the screen and then a translator note would pop up in like yellow text at the top and it was a fucking paragraph, right? Like... Parallel to its anime strategy, Dentsu's multi-year partnership with Roblox underlines a strategic approach to brand integration within gaming ecosystems. This collaboration aims to scale brand presence on the Roblox platform while fostering intellectual property collaborations with creators. The partnership promises to offer Dentsu's clients unprecedented access to Roblox's dynamic user base, which is predominantly consisting of Gen Z. Through specialized training summits and insightful marketing opportunities, Brett Koenig, Dentsu's EVP of Gaming, emphasizes the unique nature of Roblox, where user-generated content dictates the platform's success. Dentsu's concerted push into gaming and anime is reflective of a larger trend among agencies to connect with the next wave of consumers, Gen Z and even Gen Alpha. These demographics, described as digital ninjas, exhibit sophisticated tech fluency from a young age. That's really funny, considering Gen Z has largely been touted as more tech illiterate than even the boomers. That somehow millennials are really adept at technology and then Gen Z just failed at everything. I don't know what they mean by this. Signaling a shift in how brands need to engage with upcoming generations. The emphasis on balance, as noted by Danny Mariano, president at Razorfish, between digital immersion and real-world interactions presents a nuanced understanding of Gen Z and Gen Alpha's worldviews. Gaming and anime, far from being mere entertainment outlets, are recognized as platforms for self-expression and identity exploration among these cohorts. Ah yes, the anime woman. She is literally me. Strategic takeaway from brands, Dentsu's expansion into gaming and anime offers critical insights for brands looking to connect with their fandoms. Cultural resonance, understanding and integrating into cultures deeply cherished by Gen Z, like anime and gaming, can significantly enhance brand relevance and loyalty. Innovative brand solutions leveraging emerging platforms and technologies to create immersive brand experiences will be key in capturing the attention of a generation that values authenticity and creativity. But don't actually be authentic, just project authenticity, and then you'll get your mindless drones of consumers. Holistic engagement strategies, recognizing the multifaceted nature of Gen Z's digital engagement, which spans entertainment, self-expression, and social interaction, can inform more effective and meaningful marketing approaches. As Dentsu ventures into these vibrant cultural territories with strategic foresight, it sets a precedent for how brands can innovatively engage with the digital-first generation, shaping the future landscape of consumer brand interactions in the process. Case Study 3, Puma and One Piece footwear collaboration. In 2024, Puma, a well-known sports apparel brand, teamed up with One Piece, a highly popular anime series, to collaborate on a new line of shoes. They're ugly. I mean, I think having chains on shoes could look pretty cool, but I'm not a big fan of, like, gold and white. I'd prefer like a, I don't know, black and gold with some chains maybe, a little edgier. You like One Piece, but those shoes are ugly. The Freerin shoes are cute. This partnership is part of Puma's larger strategy to connect with Gen Z by engaging with the anime fandom. The highlight of this partnership is a collection of shoes inspired by characters from One Piece, including Luffy, Blackbeard, Whitebeard, and the Red Hair Pirates. This collection, set to launch on March 23rd, 2024 in select Puma stores and online, showcases Puma's effort to blend sports fashion with the distinctive style and the themes of the One Piece series. Collaboration also includes a range of clothing items like hoodies, jackets, pants, and shorts, all designed with One Piece themes. A unique aspect of this partnership is the packaging for the shoes, which features a design resembling a pirate map, adding an extra element of the One Piece adventure for fans. This isn't the first time Puma has collaborated with One Piece. In 2019, they released a limited edition sneaker line for the One Piece film Gold. These ongoing collaborations between Puma and One Piece highlight Puma's creative approach to integrating popular anime with their products. I would have loved more shit like this when I was younger. I like constantly consuming anime, man. I would have loved to have more collaborations that I could buy in the US instead of having to like try and import from Japan. A strategic takeaway is Puma's One Piece collaboration offers lessons for American brands interested in the anime market. Cultural connection, partnering with anime shows can help brands reach and connect with Gen Z, who appreciate when companies understand and engage with their interests. I don't understand why they're so, hard on for Gen Z. Why do they want to pander specifically to the cultural tourists of anime instead of, as much as I don't consume stuff like Slice of Life, if they started doing stuff for that, I'd be like, this makes sense, because that's a huge fucking component, you know? Expanding product lines, anime's wide appeal can be used to diversify product offerings, as seen with Puma, extending their range to include themed clothing and unique packaging. Engaging fans, products that capture the essence of beloved anime characters or themes can create a deeper bond with fans, making them more interested in what the brand offers. And timely collaborations, aligning product launches with significant events in the anime world like movie releases or major plot developments, can attract more attention and interest from potential customers. Through this partnership with One Piece, Puma demonstrates how brands can successfully enter the anime space by offering products that resonate with the series' fans. By doing so thoughtfully and authentically, brands can open up new opportunities for engagement and reach within the growing anime community. Where's my fucking gothic Lolita dresses that I can buy in the United States? Where's that shit? In the multifaceted world of anime, brands have a unique opportunity to forge meaningful connections with a dedicated and growing fandom. As anime transcends its niche origins to become a mainstream cultural force, particularly among Gen Z, the potential for brands to engage with this audience expands from mere acknowledgement to collaborations. Content creation, influencer partnerships, and immersive events can become powerful touchpoints. Brands can forge deeper connections with the anime audience through custom collaborations that integrate their products with popular anime series. As we have seen with the Puma case study, a fashion brand could release a limited edition clothing line inspired by characters from a trending anime, tapping into the show's existing fan base. This strategy goes beyond surface-level engagement, as it requires brands to work closely with creators to ensure that the products are true and thematic to the source material. Brands should consider producing original short-form anime content that aligns with their marketing message and can be shared across YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. As we have seen with the McDonald's case study, by investing in storytelling that resonates with the anime community, brands can increase their relevance and appeal with Gen Z. For example, a tech company might produce a mini anime series featuring its products as integral elements within the story, thereby educating viewers about the products in an engaging format. I love when brand adopt something they know nothing about just because they think it's a useful medium to push a certain narrative. Working with mid to large anime influencers and content creators can help brands reach a wider and more dedicated audience. VTubers, with their anime-inspired digital personas, have become integral to the anime community by offering immersive, interactive content that resonates with fans, making them ideal partners for brands looking to authentically engage with this vibrant subculture. For example, a gaming company could partner with a popular VTuber like Guargura, leveraging her large following and anime-centric content to promote a new game release, with themed virtual events and collaborative streaming sessions that resonate deeply within the anime community. And there's a little chart here with VTuber viewership versus Twitch as relative growth. And as you can see, VTuber hours are up here near a fucking giant-ass 100 billion or some shit. I don't know, that's a big-ass number. A lot of interesting things in VTubing, right? Now how people are just politics don't belong in VTubing, but then it's okay for some VTubers to go on a big podcast with Bernie Sanders and AOC. But if I point out how the politics are encroaching into our territory, I'm the problem. They're a little late for Gura. This is from last year. This is an article from last year on LinkedIn. Experimental events. Brands can create immersive experiences by sponsoring anime pop-up shops or interactive installations at anime conventions. These events should offer unique experiences that can't be found elsewhere, such as VR experiences that put fans into the world of their favorite anime. 2024 trends and outlooks in the anime sector beyond Gen Z. In 2024, the anime industry is poised to capture the emerging Gen Alpha audience. This shift towards engaging the youngest demographic marks a strategic evolution in anime content creation and marketing, driven by the genre's adaptability and the growing digital nativity of its audience. Anime is increasingly embracing themes and narratives that resonate with Gen Alpha, characterized by vibrant storytelling that blends educational elements with entertainment. For brands, this represents a unique opportunity to pioneer marketing strategies that cater to both children and their parents, fostering a family-oriented approach to engagement. Strategies to connect with Gen Alpha involve creating content that is not only entertaining, but also offers value in terms of learning and development. For example, Crunchyroll's collaboration with Duolingo in 2023 offers users a chance to learn Japanese through anime-inspired content and a 1-month free trial of Super Duolingo. This partnership not only enriches the language learning experience by making it more engaging and culturally relevant, but also highlights the anime industry's broader strategy to appeal to Gen Alpha. This phenomenon of VTubers is expected to surge in 2024, as the virtual YouTubers with anime-inspired avatars gain mainstream attention. Their ascent from niche internet celebrities to prominent digital influencers represents a novel frontier for brand collaborations and marketing campaigns. Brands can tap into the VTuber trend by initiating partnerships for exclusive content series, leveraging their appeal for innovative product launches, or hosting virtual events that showcase the unique interaction VTubers offer. The immersive and interactive nature of VTuber engagements provides brands with a dynamic platform to connect with audiences in a deeply personalized and engaging manner, blending entertainment with marketing in a way that resonates with the digital-first consumer. Anime to live-action American adaptations, which have all been hella floppy. I don't remember anyone praising any of these. Non-Japanese stories adapted into Japanese anime. Unprecedented success of Solo Leveling is what they talk about here. Artificial intelligence revolutionizing anime. And then their conclusion, as anime continues to flourish within the US, it emerges as a pivotal cultural and economic force, transcending its niche origins to captivate a diverse and expanding audience. This growth is not just a reflection of changing entertainment preferences, but also a testament to the genre's unique ability to resonate with younger generations like Gen Z and Alpha, offering rich, nuanced narratives that engage and inspire. For brands and companies, the evolving landscape of anime in the US presents both opportunities and challenges, necessitating a deep understanding of the genre's complexities and its audience's expectations. The rise of anime is significantly fueled by technological advancements, blah blah blah, COVID-19 pandemic, mainstream emergence of VTubers, and the growing integration of AI and anime content. Both trends seemingly correlated. What? Signal the genre's ongoing transformation. These developments not only herald new creative possibilities, but also challenge traditional content creation and marketing strategies. And they have a lot of references down here. This was a fucking massively long article to initially break into talking about Dentsu, wrapping all the way around. You wonder if this is why some anime tourists have become more and more mainstream somehow? Maybe it is related. Anime tourists are often people that hate fan service and hated anime, but magically their tastes changed during the COVID era, and now they think their opinion is more valuable than anyone else or relevant. I agree. And it's a very interesting wedge into, we've seen what happened with comics, we've seen what happened with video games, and now they're attempting to do the exact same thing with anime. And we have this DigiDay article here, the rundown why anime is having a marketing moment in 2024, and this is directly from Bridge. This was in Bridge's Smart Brief letter in March 2024. After languishing for years as a niche interest for basement-dwelling nerds, anime has made its way into the mainstream. And in 2024, marketers have gotten the memo. This year, major brands such as McDonald's are investing in anime to build goodwill among its diverse and growing Gen Z audience. To today's youngsters, the idea that anime was ever anything but wildly popular might come as a surprise. Thanks to the growth of dedicated streaming services such as Crunchyroll, Japanese animation is now more accessible than ever before. But no cultural force truly hits the mainstream until brands and advertisers get involved. And in 2024, they are getting involved. Basement dwelling, the fuck you doing here then, jackwad? You see? We were basement-dwelling nerds who needed to go touch grass, but now that they have their hands on anime, oh, it's a cultural force! Anime is wonderful, as long as we don't look at all of those basement-dwelling nerds of yore. 2024 is the start of brands having dedicated global strategies for the anime space in a way that they might have for the sports industry, music industry, gaming industry, etc., said Tatiana Taka, the founder of Oni Vision, a consulting practice dedicated to the anime and gaming space. We have not necessarily seen that on a global scale until recently. Here's a breakdown of how and why anime has become one of the brand's favorite marketing tools in 2024. On February 27th, McDonald's kicked off its first anime-inspired marketing campaign, WCDonalds, with the English version of the campaign's introductory video rapidly drawing over 250,000 views. WCDonalds is a best-in-class example of how brands can contribute to culture by finding a meaningful and credible role inside culture, instead of intruding and disrupting it from the outside, said Hui Wen Tao, head of APAC strategy for the agency Virtue. I've never heard of any of these, APAC, Virtue, or Hua Wen To. Anime viewership is higher than ever, in part because anime is extremely accessible in 2024. The most popular anime streaming app is the Sony-owned Crunchyroll, which surpassed $1 billion in global consumer spending at the end of 2023. There's a wonderful article on how sociopaths come into niche fandoms called something like Geeks, Maps, or Mops and Sociopaths, and it's really insightful. It talks about how gatekeepers are needed. We're about to see what happened to comics and video games happen to anime. We've already been seeing the slow slide, and again, this is from Bridge from last year. Anime is a medium, not a single genre, which means its audience spans across many demographic groups, particularly in Japan. In the United States, however, anime is particularly growing in popularity among Gen Z. A January 2024 survey by Polygon, who takes Polygon seriously, revealed that 42% of American Gen Zers watch anime weekly, compared to just 25% of millennials and 12% of Gen X. In Japan, anime is enjoyed across generations with subgenres and characters to appeal to every age, said Yasu Sasaki, Global Chief Creative Officer of Dentsu, which spun up a dedicated anime subsidiary last year. The style of anime content you consume evolves with you as you grow up. There are many parallels between the rise of anime as a marketing channel and the rise of gaming as a marketing tool. Much like gaming, marketers recalcitrantly viewed anime as a niche interest until its popularity became impossible for them to ignore. At which point they began doing everything they could to reach this young, plugged-in audience. Hey, remember when Opera was partnered with an anime YouTuber who got his partnership cut because he did a Blue Archive tier list? You remember that? Remember that? It's okay for brands to use anime as long as they remove the parts of anime they deem to be unsavory for themselves. Even though Opera once again used Rebecca in promotional ads and even used the uo crying emoji, noting that they understood what Rebecca was and they knew what the uo emoji represented. So it's okay to subtly signal to a group of people you want to consume your product. But when it comes to walking the walk, they're not about that life. They're not about that. Consume VTuber. There's a very natural connection between the anime and gaming audience, and brands are quickly realizing that there's ample overlap between the two. Wow, how many decades did that take you, buddy? A brand's marketing investment in anime can bolster its presence in gaming and vice versa. At the moment, many brands' anime activations also feature some kind of gaming integration. McDonald's campaign, for example, went live alongside a custom-branded Fortnite experience. While the community's respective styles of engagement with anime and gaming differ, passive for anime and active for gamers, there's a definite affinity between the two communities, Sasaki said. There are the obvious commonalities, such as both being enjoyed indoors and both portraying worlds in symbolic forms. More significantly, they have a cultural kinship. Anime has often influenced gaming, and gaming often influences anime. It's actually way more simple than that. If you liked anime, you were an outcast and you got bullied. If you liked video games, you were an outcast and you got bullied. So it made it very, very easy that if you were into anime, you'd also get into gaming or vice versa. Another reason for brands to be interested in anime in 2024 is the demographic diversity of the anime community. Much like lingering misconceptions about the gaming audience, anime has long been plagued by the perception that it is largely the territory of men or Asian Americans. But this is changing as marketers become more familiar with the space. I feel like everyone involved in this article is a tourist.
I have no photos, please. No photos. Everybody wave to the tourists. Wave to the tourists. Hello, tourists.
Cxmmunity Media, but community is spelled with an X instead of an O, whose origins lie in the gaming and esports space, has taken note of the power of anime to reach a diverse audience. To that end, the company has invested in Trap Sushi, an anime-inspired club and event venue in Atlanta, with plans to use the space as inventory for its partnership with diversity-focused brands. Chat. They're coming for our animes! A cultural exchange disguised as a party. Trap Sushi. Crutch Campus X Trap Sushi Z Fighters Campus Trucker Hat Collection. Limited edition TS Spooky Hoodie. Trap Sushi Japan returns. Trap Sushi The Zine issue number 2. The issue highlights the Trap Sushi community in art, music, anime, and more. Be a part of Trap Sushi history and add it to your collection today. Sushi Recap 2023 Trap Sushi. Trap Sushi. Oh, there's a fucking documentary? I'm so fucking hyped, bro. Let's go. Trap Sushi documentary.
Cool into anime.
If you are into anime now, it makes you cooler.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Being into anime makes you cool now, chat.
I mean, Trap Sushi is a vibe, for sure. It's really just fusing Atlanta pop culture with Japanese pop culture through food, through music, through anime, through cosplay. I do feel like it provides that sense of community because it really is for everybody.
There's that language. It's for everybody. Yeah, it was until the DEI nonsense started attacking it. What the fuck, brother? Can we go back to when it made you a loser nerd?
Colton Williams. I go by Troop Brand, and I'm an artist, musician.
And my name is Stephanie Lindo. I'm an environmental scientist.
What is an environmental
scientist? On the side with Troop.
I remember when I met Stephanie, I went through her Instagram, and she drew this picture, I think, of Kakashi. And I was like, oh, she like anime? Ooh. You know, it was an excitement. Like, this person likes what I like. That's something that I think fueled this passion for this event as well.
If I speak.
Around midnight, we have the cosplay competition, which is the highlight of the event. It is so crazy. It's so dope.
The judges are screening on 3 different criteria. They're judging for accuracy, level of effort, like creativity.
Panty and
we have
stocking.
A strict policy of no animals now. This girl,
a strict policy of no animals now. What? What happened to make them institute that policy? I need to know that story.
Pauses in front of the camera and lifts up her sleeves, and it's a snake.
Oh,
so I'm
shit.
like, yo, that's a real snake. Like, that's a real snake. Like,
yeah. Wait, that's pretty cool, though. Why would you say no animals after that?
Crazy. Like, the line for the sushi will be all the way back to the entrance sometimes.
You cannot get authentic late night sushi anywhere but Trap Sushi.
Yeah.
Seriously.
On a Thursday.
On a Thursday night, yeah.
Because it's a liability nightmare. Do you really think that people setting up a midnight trap house care about a liability? Do you think that like the midnight rave I was invited to in California had any sort of safety standards? It was literally a box with no fire safety and one entrance and exit, brother. You know.
Put up and give you a banner / flyer and flyers at the event.
Or have content on the
I was born in Vicksburg, Mississippi. Then I moved to Columbus, Mississippi. You know,
why are we showing
wasn't
baby
much
pictures?
anime,
What's happening?
But I had a group of friends. All of us loved Dragon Ball Z.
One day I will visit a South American country and I will eat at a store, at a restaurant that has Dragon Ball Z murals painted on the side. They always love DBZ. I had to pause for a second.
That was like the first, you know, we kind of got into that. And I never forget, I was like in the morning, I would like try to catch, you know, Dragon Ball Z on TV before I go to school.
And I am from Atlanta, Georgia. So my childhood experience was very cultured. My best friends growing up, they're all Vietnamese. They're the ones actually that introduced me to manga and anime. We were really into the high school drama type things. The one thing I like about anime is that they spend a lot of time putting everyday, like actual Japanese culture in it.
I wonder if she watches subs or dubs, bro.
Cartoons don't do that. It's just a bunch of, you know, off the wall jokes and everything like that. But if you think about a lot of the anime we watch, a lot of them have they really, really, really take the time to invoke their everyday culture into it. And that's
what made me fall in love with the food.
Samurai Champloo mention?
There was this one called Samurai Champloo, and that was the first time I heard like hip hop in anime.
Cowboy Bebop also was another one of them where their
That
soundtrack
intro.
is iconic.
But that was before, like, you know, like Meg Thee Stallion was like advocating anime, before like Lil Uzi Vert was like doing anime. It was before all these other
I
things.
know Megan Thee Stallion has done cosplays, and I'll defend her. Her cosplay has been pretty good. I think I retweeted one of them at one point. I don't know who Lil Uzi is, so I don't know anything about his involvement in anime.
But I definitely think Dragon Ball Z resonated with the Black community very, very, very well.
To the point that they did not believe it was anime.
What?
Usually we get our snacks from Wagaya Groceries, either Wagaya or H Mart. I want this one.
H Mart praise, dude. Love that place.
These are our VIP bags. These one we use Haichu. It's a nice way to give people something they're familiar with, but something that still has its roots in Japan. I think it's really all in the details I really think sets our event apart from other ones.
So with doing, you know, Traps
Naruto hit the Black community harder than crack. Jesus Christ.
Sushi, I know that there is like a fine line between appreciation and appropriation.
I don't ever want it to get to a point where, you know, we're just throwing things together and you're walking around and you're like, why is there Chinese New Year stuff? Google is free. It's not hard to just open up your phone and like do some.
Knowing what you're talking about is the appreciation. What do you what appropriate? Why do you have to use that word? I don't understand. What?
Research.
Yeah. I think that's what sets it apart, that due diligence to make sure that your appreciation isn't misguided.
Literally,
he says as they blow up a pool with top ramen, question mark.
Cultural appropriation is taking somebody else's culture and trying to make it seem like it's your own.
Yeah.
As Black people, we have seen our own culture appropriated, so we know how it feels, so we don't want to do that to somebody else's, like whatsoever.
It's actually from an anime called Gate. So basically, she's like kind of like a goddess of death, basically. She knows what she wants. She does what she wants, so it's just, I like that. Tasha pretty much stands for like trash car in Japanese. Yeah, it was a big commitment. I had to pick up a second job just to pay for it.
The car's hardcore based.
I love ReZero. I could watch it over and over and over, and it's amazing. But I will say they did do my character dirty. Okay, they did do her dirty.
The Atlanta cosplay community is really growing, and it's so a lot of Black cosplayers coming up on the rise, and I love to see it a lot.
Sometimes racism can run rampant in the cosplay community, in the anime community as well. You know, like, oh, you can't cosplay as that because you're Black and this character is not. We have received.
I have never once thought that when looking at a Black cosplayer. I was just like, you do you, dude. Like, fuck, that's a nice costume. Hell yeah, dude. Cosplay's literally always been for everyone. Look at how many fat chicks cosplay. Come on, dude. And people online say that often. I'm sure the people online who say that kind of shit are the same people who just be like, oh my god, a lolly, what a pedophile.
Feedback in the past saying, you know, like, thank you for providing this space because they feel safe, they feel accepted.
Oh shit. Hold on, I gotta English.
Cosplay community in the back.
When I attended the event for the first time, I had not been to Japan in a while and I missed that. But I saw many people who loved Japanese culture so much. I was so happy and quickly became friends with everyone at the event. I'm confused. If she hadn't been to Japan in a long time and so she missed Japanese culture, she very clearly is Japanese. She speaks very fluent Japanese. Why is she giving the interview in Japanese if it's about an English event and it's been a long time since she's been to Japan? I'm just a little confused. You think it's fine? I'm just asking questions, all right? Can't believe Kier's dubbing an anime woman in real time.
I love it. I love it. There's people's energy.
The energy is incredible. Atlanta is awesome.
I do feel like it provides that sense of community because it really is for everybody. It's not for a specific group. If you like to cosplay, you can come. You know, if you like anime, you can come. If you don't like any,
it's always been for everybody. The only defining factor was like you were typically a loser because you liked anime and or video games.
That stuff, you can still come, you know, and just check it out and see if
Why
you
do
want
they
to come
keep
back
saying
next
it?
time.
Saying it's for everyone is part of the programming language. Like you notice that in a lot of like DEI text. So that's the end of their little documentary about trap sushi. Here's the 30-second 2023 trap sushi recap. That lady's very pretty. I don't know if that's Megan Thee Stallion or someone else though. I'm gonna mute that because I'm assuming that's a DMCA. 8 events, 5,000, what the hell? 5,000 attendees, 800 plus sushi rolls made, 5 cons, 10 plus amazing vendors, 40 plus hours spent debating One Piece. 40 hours seems a little low for debating One Piece. I think it's for everyone who actually appreciates it and approaches without bias or preconceptions. Anime tourists don't have that. True and real. True and real. A little distraction of trap sushi. Back to the article. I want to look up Cxmmunity Media. A little blog thing here. Kai Cenat affirms $5 million school commitment in Nigeria live on Mafiathon 3, September 4th, 2025. Up top, they have like the Kickback, HBCU Esports. I think it's historically black colleges and universities esports, and then the Community Foundation. We're a media tech company focused on amplifying the global gaming ecosystem. We provide targeted advertising and marketing opportunities within various gaming and entertainment environments, ensuring brands connect with diverse, vibrant, youthful audiences organically. By definition, that would not be organically, would it not? Cxmmunity Media goes beyond reach, where the bridge, we got this from a Bridge article, by the way, connecting brands with multicultural communities, turning moments into movements, driving purpose, and impacting communities from coast to coast. We're the #1 hub for gamers worldwide. The #1 hub for gamers that I've never heard of. Cxmmunity has over 1.2 billion earned media impressions in 3 years, 50 million viewers across live stream events, produced over 30 live and experiential events, produced over $20 million into the diverse gaming community. Meet the team. We have the head of content, co-founder CEO, co-founder CEO, co-founder CEO. I don't know who these people are. Clients, Twitch, Microsoft, Verizon, Hot Pocket, Foot Locker, DoorDash, Discover, Space Jam, Honda, Mountain Dew, Riot Games, Xbox, Nike, Spotify, Warner Brothers, Amazon. That's a lot of views. What's their YouTube channel at? They have 1.59k subscribers and 113 videos. 391 views, 45 views. Kickback powered by Xfinity. 87 views, 113 views, 972 views. Do they count it because these are like powered by Xfinity, powered by Xfinity? Does like Xfinity promote this somewhere? Sort of like Opera embedding their VTuber into the main page so it auto-played for everyone, and so they counted as viewers if they simply opened their browser even if they weren't watching it. They're including all the people and the creators they've directly worked with. That's kinda fishy to do. To be fair, what do you have for shorts? Demon Slayer was actually a hit, 2 views. GTA 6, $100, 4 views. Protecting our hair has been a part of the history of bonnets and do-rags. Protecting heroes like MLK. MLK's $20 billion reparations plan? Urban nightlife, decoding anime and hip-hop events. Monoculture is dead? Why you don't know all the celebs. DreamCon, diversity concerns and unexplained black nerd reactions. Interesting. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter if you get organic views if you have massive corporations pushing for you. Rolling Loud exclusive artist gaming lounge. Juice World Day featuring Xbox. Game Changers featuring Georgia Power, like the electric company. Verizon Pro-Am. Mountain Dew Real Change Challenge, Game Pass for PC, Discover Bowl, Discover works with Bridge as well, Honda Dream Lab, Creator DoorDash, Walmart Father's Day. No idea what any of these are. I'm gonna click on Game Changers featuring Georgia's Power. We brought Georgia Power into the Georgia gaming ecosystem as we powered up pipelines. We partnered with Georgia Power to deliver hands-on access to game development for the next generation of creators in Georgia. Through 2 custom-built workshops, high school and college students learn to build immersive worlds inside Fortnite's Unreal Engine, gaining real-world skills in the industry's most powerful toolset. We also produced a 4-part docu-series on the rise of Georgia as a gaming capital, highlighting local talent, tech education, and why the state is becoming a launch pad for the next wave of digital storytellers. 2 Unreal Engine workshops, dozens of students, 4-part docu-series highlighting Georgia's gaming boom. This is kind of like grifting, just like the DEI version of a crypto rug pull scam. No, this is about changing culture. Once again, it doesn't matter if they have organic growth, if they have all of these companies working with them and doing the DEI work with them, right? Like, it doesn't matter if people are actually consuming the content. If companies are using this in, like, marketing and inspiring the way that they do their products going forward. 17% of Black Americans over the age of 18 are anime fans, compared to 13% of Asian Americans. As it relates to the Black community, that's one of those things that we over-index in, said community CMO Chris P.A. Anime's moment in the spotlight is the result of a slow build on the medium's popularity and accessibility, not a single flashy moment that launched anime into the stratosphere. But there's no denying that prominent American celebrities have jumped into anime at an unprecedented level over the last year. As luminaries such as Megan Thee Stallion and Usher post their cosplays on social media, I didn't know Usher cosplayed. It's not surprising that brands and marketers have been motivated to demonstrate their own familiarity with the genre. I always keep going back to anime culture and how anime fandom is more than just watching, Taka said. It's a multifaceted experience that's also defined by the things that you wear, and the music that you listen to, and the celebrities that you enjoy, and the references and themes and values that you have. Anime fandom is a multifaceted experience defined by the things you wear, the music you listen to, and the celebrities you enjoy. I don't think any of those things are really related, man. Don't think, just consume! Just consume. It's really sad that now anime is going to be facing this uphill battle with a ton of tourists. We have another article here. Dentsu strengthens its anime business with the establishment of Dentsu Anime Solutions Incorporated in Japan. This was in 2023. Dentsu Group announced today that it will be strengthening its anime business with the establishment of Dentsu Anime Solutions, a new company that will provide solutions centered on anime licensing. The new company's main businesses will be sales of anime and licensing, copyright business, such as merchandising to broadcasters and streaming platforms both in Japan and overseas. Dentsu Anime Solutions will be established on July 3rd, 2023 as a 100% consolidated subsidiary of Dentsu Group under Dentsu Japan. So basically anything that Dentsu touches is going to be DEI infected. In the last 10 years, along with the diversification and expansion of video streaming networks due to the spread of devices and video streaming services, anime has become an established genre in global entertainment. It is expected to grow significantly in the future as a global industry originating in Japan, including peripheral businesses such as games, merchandising, and events. In fact, the global anime market is expected to expand from $28.6 billion USD in 2022 to $60 billion USD in 2030. The average annual growth rate for the period is expected to be 9.8% squared. Moreover, opportunities to provide solutions utilizing anime through the anime division of Dentsu Inc.'s Content Business Design Center to clients not only in Japan, but also in international markets are increasing year by year. The division's net revenue has nearly doubled over the last 2 years in light of this market expansion and increased demand from clients by establishing a new company that will primarily handle the licensing of anime. We plan to recruit and train specialists and accumulate know-how, further accelerating the growth of Dentsu's anime business. Sei Matsumoto, Representative Director and President, Dentsu Anime Solutions Inc., said, "Our content business is one of Dentsu's true differentiators. In particular, anime continues to generate enthusiasm around the world, especially among Gen Z audiences. It is a fast-growing opportunity for us as well, as we are pleased to announce the establishment of this new specialist company. With this launch, we will continue to enhance our expertise in various areas, such as producing new anime IP. I'd be very interested in the new IP that Dentsu comes up with and exactly how they push the message in said anime IPs. Supporting sales and, of course, license management. By leveraging the creativity and networks of Dentsu, we'll be able to provide the best possible solutions around anime, support the business growth of clients and partner companies both in Japan and overseas, and contribute to the development of the anime industry as a whole. We've already seen, like, how shitty Crunchyroll got, not even to, like, mention High Guardian Spice, right? So it'll be really interesting to see Dentsu essentially become the Japanese version of Crunchyroll. By leveraging the creativity and networking of Dentsu, we will be able to provide the best possible solutions around anime, support the business growth of clients and partner companies both in Japan and overseas, and contribute to the development of the anime industry as a whole. The future roles of Dentsu's anime business organizations located in Japan are expected to be as follows. Dentsu Inc. Content Business Design Center Anime Division, producing anime and provision of solutions utilizing anime to clients of Dentsu in Japan and overseas. Dentsu Anime Solutions Inc., new company, sales of anime and licensing, copyright business such as merchandising to broadcasters and streaming platforms, both in Japan and overseas. About Dentsu, Dentsu is the network designed for what's next, helping clients predict and plan for disruptive future opportunities in the sustainable economy. It's like a villain organization tagline, bro. Holy shit. Taking a people-centered approach to business transformation, Dentsu combines Japanese innovation with a diverse global perspective to drive client growth and to shape society. Literal globo homo speak. Get out of here with that. And we have this New York article here, October 1st. It does say New York 2018. I'm not sure if this means it was published in 2018 because it just says Monday, October 1st at 5 p.m. How Microsoft, Dentsu Aegis Network, and McCann dialed up diversity and inclusion. In this session, how agencies can implement DEI efforts more effortlessly. Microsoft challenged Dentsu Aegis Network and McCann 3 years ago to transform their D&I strategy, and this long-term commitment is exceeding expectations. Nick Brien, CEO, Americas, Dentsu Aegis Network, will discuss how their partnership with Microsoft, Kathleen Hall, Corporate Vice President, Brand Advertising and Research, resulted in a D&I framework that is creating benefits for both agencies, the brand, and society. And you have the speakers at this thing. What you'll learn from this session, I guess, wasn't fleshed out. I don't know where to find this session. It'd be really nice to be able to listen to this, but this is the only archive I have. The speakers were Jackie Kelly, Deputy Chief Operating Officer of Bloomberg Media Group, Singleton Bento, Chief Diversity Engagement Officer of McCann World Group, Kathleen Hall, Corporate Vice President, Brand Advertising and Research at Microsoft, and Nick Brien, CEO, America Dentsu Aegis Network. The Dentsu Aegis Network rebrands to Dentsu. This was in September 2020. London, Dentsu Group today announces that its international business Dentsu Aegis Network will now operate under the Dentsu brand. The international business will operate alongside its business in Japan and will unite more than 66,000 people globally within the Dentsu brand. This will allow all Dentsu employees to deliver on the group's philosophy of true client centricity through open teaming. The concept of all employees realizing innovation for clients from anywhere. I love corpo speak. This follows a transformational period for the international business focused on simplifying its offer to deliver world-class services and integrated marketing solutions that are data-driven, tech-enabled, and ideas-led, tailored around clients' needs. The simplification has seen 3 lines of business established across media, CRM, and creative, making it easier for clients to navigate its services and allowing them to win, keep, and grow their best customers. This transformation has positioned Dentsu International as the market leader for data, analytics, and CRM. The move marks a new chapter for the international business following the arrival of Wendy Clark earlier in September as global CEO. Wendy Clark, global CEO of Dentsu International, said, "This represents an important milestone in the evolution of our international business as we build on Dentsu's rich legacy of innovation and industry leadership along with the dynamic growth story of Dentsu Aegis Network. Our business provides our clients and our people with the best of both worlds, helping them to achieve meaningful progress against a backdrop of unprecedented change and disruption." How many times have we seen people since I think 2017 or 2018 was the latest or the oldest article we read? Every single time one of these DEI acolytes has gotten into Dentsu, They have mentioned unprecedented change and disruption, as well as changing culture. These are the things you need to look out for when these acolytes try to embed themselves in companies that were once great companies that did good things and handled good IPs. These people are looking to transform it in the Marxist image as well as globalization. And that is a problem. The business will be registered as Dentsu International Limited with UK Companies House and is expected to be in use from early October 2020. And I found it interesting that throughout a lot of these articles I've been reading, especially since we got into the meat of Dentsu, and especially since we looked into Cxmmunity Media and we watched that short documentary video and we watched a little bit of the anime stuff, some people were like, I don't see anything wrong with this. I don't get what's wrong here, Kirsche. And that's the point. You are the target. If you can't read their subversive language, if you can't see what these acolytes are trying to embed by being as subversive and like, what's the word I'm looking for? My brain is melting from how much corpo speak I've been ingesting today. They're trying to be both subversive and hide the meat of the issue, right? It's like that lady said. It's like Sasha Thompson said. You have to hide the DEI vegetables because people are fussy babies. And even though it's good for them, they don't quite realize it yet. So they do it in such a covert way that unless you know the terminology to look for, you wouldn't see almost anything wrong with this, especially because, well, they're saying it's for everyone. They're saying they want it to be innovating. They're saying that, you know, we're in a time of unprecedented change and they're here to like help guide the way. You know, they're doing good things, right? So anyone that was watching this and gave the I don't see anything wrong with this sort of terminology, you are the target. You are the propagandized. You are exactly who they're trying to convert and not notice what they're doing and how they're damaging these IPs, these products, and just anime in general. And then there's the Dentsu website here, Manga Anime Growth Partners. It's in Japanese, but there is an English version. And this is also 2018. Dentsu, in collaboration with major Japanese animation studios, to establish an organization to produce anime video content for enhancing clients' brand appeal. President and CEO Toshihiro Yamamoto, head office Tokyo, has set up an organization in alliance with 9 major Japanese animation studios to contribute to the brand appeal of companies and business groups and products and services by producing made-to-order anime video content. The organization is a Tokyo headquarters-based new cross-organizational team within its group Dentsu Japanimation Studio, which responds to by systemizing solutions with the use of animation, branding-related marketing issues that companies and business groups inside and outside Japan are facing. With the diversification of media outlets and the contents that run on them, more and more companies and business groups are aiming to elevate their communications beyond traditional product service advertising and public relations to strike a chord with younger consumers. This has led to an increase in the use of animation as a way to strengthen brand appeal, since it allows more freedom to the story making and creative expression than live action videos and is highly compatible with online videos. In addition, Japan Animation enjoys a strong reputation overseas. Asterisk. Source. It boasts almost 80% of Japan's broadcasting content exports, and its overseas sales continue to break records year after year. With this strong popularity, demand for Japanimation as a marketing tool has been growing significantly. As a result, Dentsu has created DJS by bringing together experts from various fields within the Dentsu group. Going forward, DJS will add more animation studios to the alliance while accumulating knowledge and skills for utilizing Japanimation and offer marketing solutions to companies and business groups inside and outside Japan. And furthermore, contribute to the development of Japanese animation beyond languages, cultural differences, and national borders. And reading this makes me remember we watched a libelous, slanderous Vice documentary where a lady decided to selectively trim and selectively present and also erroneously present certain things in a context that made anime and manga appear to be a culture of pedophilia. She even interviewed a politician and selectively spliced some of the things that he said to make it seem like what he said was worse than it was, and he came out after that released and was very angry about how his words were misconstrued. In addition to this, that Vice documentary was blocked in the entirety of Japan. If you were trying to watch that documentary from Japan, you could not. If you changed your VPN to somewhere in Japan, that video was blocked for you. That woman who did that slanderous Vice documentary, She ended up getting a position at, I think it was CNN, but I could be misremembering. But she was given like a global culture ambassador position with a news media company because of her work on that documentary, and she also won an award for it. So it makes perfect sense that these people who have nothing but contempt for Japan and the way that anime and manga operate want to infiltrate, want to make sure that they start using it as a priority to usher in more tourists to change the culture of what anime and manga are entirely. And in addition to that, if they're able to use those tourists who already abhor the foundations of what anime is, if they're able to use them to also push their DEI messaging, that is a double fucking bonus. The rot runs deep. It really does. It's like, it's insane to me just how fucking much shit there is. Like, I just, like, the amount of shit that I have just out to you on stream today is fucking wild. It is everywhere and all-encompassing, and these were from Bridge. Bridge had these things talking about Nick Brian and Michael Roca doing stuff in relation to Dentsu, pushing DEI, pushing the tenants, doing the work. It's like, damn, man. I'm kind of tired, bro. I'm kind of tired of all of this. This is Harnessing the Power of Anime as an Outstanding Marketing Solution, March 1st, 2019. This is from Dentsu's website. Recently in Japan, there's been a noticeable increase in the number of clients choosing to use anime in their corporate branding television advertising campaigns. At present, it's becoming more commonplace in Japan to see anime, which has a particularly high appeal for young demographic segments, utilized for communication campaigns. To what extent are you interested in anime? There's like little charts here. For young people, anime has already made the transition from subculture to becoming a part of mainstream culture. In particular, for marketing managers who have an awareness of the challenges involved in developing a customer base within a young demographic segment, it's probably worth considering the option of using anime when considering a vision of the future in which anime is likely to gain increasingly wide appeal among general audiences. Anime may be seen to represent unlimited potential as a marketing solution. We have Japanese things that respondents consider to be excellent: robotics, cuisine, anime and manga, precision engineering, audio and video, consumer electronics, 3D technology, hot springs, autos and motorcycles, infotech, transportation infrastructure. Dentsu aims to develop more sophisticated and comprehensive marketing solutions utilizing anime. Based on the potential we see for anime within the marketing context, on October 22nd, 2018, Anime Day, Dentsu established Dentsu Japanimation Studio, or DJS, as a cross-functional business unit within the Dentsu Group. Dentsu, in collaboration with major Japanese animation studios, to establish an organization to produce anime video content for enhancing clients' brand appeal. The Answer Studio, Sunrise, Studio Colorido, David Production, Bandai Namco Pictures, Perot Co. Ltd., Production IG, Polygon Pictures, Mappa, and Leiden Films. The logo shown for each partner anime studio is a hyperlink to each respective partner's website. DJS will work together with Japan's world-renowned anime studios to create optimal anime-based solutions for clients. The number of partner anime studios collaborating with DJS is expected to grow in the future. The solutions offered by DJS will be targeted not only at companies in Japan, but also at clients globally. Hence, Dentsu plans to develop a support structure leveraging its international network. Furthermore, as one of Dentsu's unique strengths, it will be possible to produce content and provide feedback based on the results of the group's consumer research from a marketing perspective. The project teams at DJS will gather together specialists drawn from a broad array of fields, including people from both sides of the left brain, right brain divide. So they have the cross-functional business unit, business producers, strategic planners, content producers, telecom planners, telecom producers, copywriters, strategic PR planners, art directors, media planners, researchers. Now you have the overseas business operations and overseas clients, as well as domestic clients. Unlimited potential of original short-length anime. So they're just talking about more of the original advertising stuff. Advantages of original anime: since it's not too short, it allows the development of strong storylines. Since it's not too long, it's easy to watch and share, thus more likely to gain broad exposure. Anime fans have very high information sensitivity and information influencer capability. With regard to 9 items related to information and trends, survey respondents chose 1 of 5 responses for each team, and the results were calculated based on those responses. The respondents whose responses included don't know, 13.1% of anime fans, 21% of non-anime fans, were excluded from the calculation result. So approximately double information sensitivity is high for, I guess, anime fans in comparison to non-anime fans? Is it just like we read the translator notes? This is potential for unlimited spread of content not only among Japanese anime fans, but among overseas anime fans, and even further afield to segments that have no interest in anime. Rather than producing advertisements, we are focused on creating anime works. Underpinning our approach to anime-based marketing solutions, we adhere to a particular philosophy. Specifically, we do not produce anime advertisements, we create anime works. So it's the same thing, they're just changing the language. It's secretly an advertisement, but it's hidden as a short-form anime series. That's funny. Although it may be a strange thing for an advertising agency member to write, when pursuing projects, we have a shared philosophy with clients that may be summed up as creating works is our principal task and producing advertisements is our subordinate task. The validity of this stance is reinforced by the results of our post-project evaluations. 3 steps in the psychological change undergone by people who have watched an original short-length anime. Step 1. Person watches an original short-length anime on the web and is so moved by it that they watch it many times over. Step 2, they are motivated to tell other people about it, so share the content via social media. Step 3, their positive feelings toward the brand that created this wonderful anime work increase, while their image of the brand is enhanced, and their purchase retentions relating to the brand rise. I feel dirty. This feels kind of dirty. It is not simply a matter of creating a good anime content, concept development with the objective of optimizing the anime work in relation to the brand, and methods for verifying the effectiveness of campaigns are also essential. Dentsu is accumulating a unique array of expertise in all of these areas. Each time we input the data that we have obtained, I am again strongly reminded that marketing solutions and the creation of high-quality anime works are both absolutely essential and must go hand in hand. And it looks like this was written by Takashi Muto, a strategic planner at Dentsu Japanimation Studio. This is a wild read. No wonder Bridge is promoting. And then there's a list of all the anime Dentsu is involved in. But it sounds like since Dentsu's been around for fucking ages, that you couldn't look at like the old works they've been involved in. And especially if it's like not something... the Attack on Titan production, and especially if it's like something that is long form instead of short form. It seems like this DEI attack inside of Dentsu has only really started around 2018, and if that was the beginning, you wouldn't really start seeing the effects of it probably until like 2020, 2021, if not. They have a diversity, equity, and inclusion report for 2022, but it is 404'd. The first link that didn't work and just brought me to their main page was their sustainability solutions and DEI. It looks like they have a new DEI page here though. DEI Action 10, promoting active participation of all employees. We prioritize diversity, equity, and inclusion in our own working environment and will prepare a foundation where all employees can maximize their performance. This is not on the Dentsu Global website, by the way. This is the japan.dentsu.com website. All employees can maximize their performance. We also change our actions by paying closer attention to unconscious bias to others. As a group, we will thus create various ideas and values through a variety of partnerships. And they have here the fair promotion and employment, fair offering of info and resources, relevant individual supports, acknowledge diverse perspectives, understand unconscious bias, understand and support disabled/ill employees, understand and support LGBT employees, understand and support foreign employees, obtain official certification, solve DEI issues in society. Dentsu Group is fully committed to DEI and does not approve of any sort of discrimination or bias. We will pursue various points of view, appreciate all differences, and nurture our culture where everyone can be true to oneself. By converting the variety of our employees into our strengths, we will evolve our business and contribute to transformation of our society. So, Dentsu heavy into the DEI, as we can see here. Proudly list DEI and ESG on the Japan front page. They do. On their DEI page, they have DEI Action 10. All of these tabs were simply because Savvy made this one post that, again, all of her research typically gets tons of fucking traction. I don't know how this one didn't. She mentioned that Pokemon had previously worked with Dentsu, an advertising firm that created a new group to replace GARM. Dentsu has been heavily drinking the Kool-Aid, and I am sad that I did not get around to talking about it last year when I had all the information, but there's so much shit from Bridge that falls through the cracks. Like, you guys know, I've been lamenting that I haven't been able to talk about Bridge stuff as much as I would have liked to. There's so much info. And it's just, I cannot do all of it by myself, and I am the only one talking about Bridge regularly.